Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Video Games podcast. A podcast where we discuss video-related games and games-related news. My name is Jimmy Gang and I'm joined by Paul McBride.
Hello.
Mike Gibson.
Hi.
Special guest, John Bauman.
Hello.
And once he gets off work, Seth Bellegarde will be joining us. So John, this is your first time on the podcast.
It is.
So how long have we known each other?
Oh, pretty long time. I think I'd want to say since high school.
Since high school, I would say, what, 2004?
2003.
2004, somewhere in there.
14 years.
Was it sophomore year?
Yeah, sophomore year.
That would have been 2003. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. We're old. Well, anyway. Why don't you take a minute here and introduce yourself? What kind of games do you like to play?
A little bit of well, for the most part, probably more of the open world type stuff as far as like recently. I mean, back in the day, we played all kinds of things. But now I'm probably more of RPG style or open world. I like some of the storyline games like Telltale stuff.
Oh, okay. What was the most recent Telltale
that
game you played?
Probably the latest Walking Dead.
Oh, okay.
I'll say that just came out a few months ago.
I think there was a new one recently.
Yeah, New Frontier.
Yeah, we've played quite a bit of those open games together.
Yes, we have
Minecraft,
lots of hours and Minecraft and yep, Ark.
Ark, yeah, we played quite a bit of Ark. That's pretty much all you play now, isn't it?
Just about. Yeah, I don't play as many as I used to. Haven't really played any shooters in a while, but
yeah, that's weird. Like when we got Overwatch, I was like, man, we need to get John in here. But then I didn't realize, man, he just doesn't really play this game much anymore. Do you have a favorite game of all time?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I might have to go back and I'd probably have to go back and say Final Fantasy.
Oh, please don't.
I know you just want me to say Final Fantasy VIII because it was just so good. But to be honest, I have to say my best memories, honestly, are probably playing Final Fantasy XI. I mean, as brutal as that game was back in its early days, I mean, it was just, there's nothing like, spending hours and hours in a party only to die 2 times and lose
everything you did. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you'd fit Seth and Jason, who are normally here. They went much further in 11 than we ever even grasped. I mean, they pretty much did everything. All the world bosses and such. But cool. So we usually talk about the games we've played recently here, and guests usually go first. So, John, have you played anything recently?
Let's see. Recently, probably. I mean, we already mentioned a couple. I mean, I've played Ark a little bit of 7 Days, the New Frontier. I still need to finish that. I think I'm only about halfway through the episodes.
Tell me about Frontier.
It's okay. I mean, I liked the earlier ones, obviously, like season 1, season 2. I thought were really good. New Frontier.
Well, I know nothing about this game. What is this?
So it is basically it's just a sequel release to the Walking Dead Telltale games. So it's
that's what you're talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it's New Frontier is the name. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I started playing it, and typically those games, at least the first couple seasons they did, I mean, I would sit down and I just play it all the way through because it was the story was that good. But like this latest one, I've just kind of been. It didn't draw me in as much to where I felt like I had to finish it.
Is it following the same characters?
It is. I mean, there's the main character without giving away any spoilers. A couple of the main characters are in it that have been in the previous season, but there's a lot of new characters, and I just haven't really. You don't fall in love. At least I haven't fallen in love with the new characters as much. So, but it hasn't been bad. Yeah, it's probably, I want to say there's probably only about 6 or 7 hours of entire content if you just play it all the way through. So
Now, is the whole season out, or is it still releasing episodes?
I'm not sure. They did when they released it initially. There was, I want to say, maybe 3 episodes, 3 or 4, and then they just recently, probably a couple months ago, released another 3 or 4 episodes. So I don't know if
Okay.
they've got any more planned for that season or not, or if they're gonna just do a whole nother title.
Hmm.
But
Okay. Oh, you, Mike, and I played a game not too long ago. Called
oh,
Osiris
Osiris, New Dawn,
New
yeah,
Dawn.
Yeah.
that was
We
good too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's new patch since we've played it that I intended to go try out, but we haven't done that yet. Mike, do you remember what was all in that patch?
The big stuff with it is that the building construction. So Osiris, just to briefly touch on it, is like a survive in space, sort of like the Martian
Mm-hmm.
co-op style game.
Similar to games
Um,
like 7 Days to Die, but
Yeah,
in a space setting.
but in a
No,
space
no
setting.
zombies, but the crafting and the
Aliens.
building and
Right.
all of that stuff.
And the big thing with the patch seems to be that now, instead of all the buildings being excuse me, being completely prefabricated and designed a specific way, but able to kind of interlink, you can now like stack just like if you want just the center part of this one building shape, you can just build that and stack it 6 times and then build hallways off of that. And it seems the big focus is on giving players more creative freedom with their base and other structure designs,
Nice.
as well as like rebalancing the game and the weapons and changing. I think they even added like a peaceful mode or something similar where it's like just you're never attacked or something.
Oh, okay.
But it's a lot. It seems like it was a lot of changes to that because when we played, it was right after they had just put out another big patch that added like classes to the game
Right.
and completely changed, like, and added a skill tree and stuff, which apparently did not exist.
The game was interesting. We kind of hit a wall with some bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or rather,
we couldn't build vehicles.
Right, we hit the floor with some bugs because our
Yeah.
cars would explode every time we tried to build them.
I mean,
But would give us the points for building them research
Yeah.
wise. So then we just got all the tech trees unlocked. But
Mhm. Yeah.
And interestingly, I had played that before Jimmy and Mike a little bit on my own, just solo. I want to say that was before they had added a lot of the extra content with the skill trees. And I was able to get all the way to the end game, and the vehicles seemed to be working for me. So when I played it with you guys, more recently here, I felt that it was more buggy than than the earlier release that I had played. Yeah. And maybe it was, I don't know, with the changes they had done or all the content they had added. It's possible, that could have introduced some more bugs, but yeah, it was definitely a little.
Anytime you add
glitchy here
stuff,
and
there's countless bugs. And they just added all that stuff when we started playing, so I don't know. I really like the potential of that game, but it's one of those games that probably won't ever see the end. That would be my guess.
right, either funding stops or development stops. They might not
Right.
even put it out as like a 1.0. They'll just say it's in early access forever.
Mhm.
But
yeah, the concept behind it's good. It's got a really sharp learning curve there too. You know, I mean, early on, you really have to have some patience with it to get rolling.
Yeah, it takes a little longer to get going than some of the other games I've played that are like that.
Right, and it's interesting because the map isn't randomly generated.
No.
So you just find a map someone made online that shows you where all the resources are, and then it's just a matter of running across this huge map to get to one of 3 fucking rubber spawns.
I think if they ever do go to procedurally generated, I think they need to make some changes because some of the resources in that game that are needed, you really need to know where they are, or you can't even continue.
Right.
So
like it was almost like they were trying to encourage exploration of the map.
Mm-hmm.
But then it became incredibly frustrating because it was like there's literally 2 nodes of this,
Right?
like all over the place.
That's the problem. Yeah, they're so rare. Like they either need to make those nodes like a lot more common, or they need to change the tree in which you progress through that game. Because
right, like I don't think having to go over that entire map, I don't think would have been as big a problem if we didn't we were looking for rubber to make it buggy so that we could explore the map. Well, rubber was one of the rarest materials.
Yeah.
So then we just looked up where it was to build the car, and then, as we mentioned, the cars were bugging out and broken and
Yeah.
stuff. But I don't know. I think the team behind that game, it seems kind of small, and they seem like they want to do the right thing with that game.
They seem very dedicated to it. Yeah.
Right. It definitely seems like somebody's dream project.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not they're able to get it all to come together and be something fun and unique and an exciting time is yet to be seen. Like we definitely, I don't know about you guys, I enjoyed my time with it,
I definitely.
but a lot of that was just like me fucking around and naming all of our naming our 7 ovens and like painting our boxes and stuff, because there's definitely some weird frustration with that game where it's like, oh, every time you start to mine a resource, you come under attack because we spawn a monster on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why is it 100% of the time, all the time? Why can't it be random? Or like, why can't it just be I'm in a zone with a lot of monsters? Why is it every time I hit anything that gives me a resource, something comes to kill me?
I think their answer to that, at least temporarily, is that free mode.
Yeah.
I think especially that in particular, it very much is the suffering from this game's not done yet.
Totally.
We've put this in to kind of give a hint of what might come later when we get, the programming for all this figured out. But here's a very simple way that we've implemented getting attacked.
Right. It probably didn't help too. I think before we started, the game just gave you a gun at the beginning with infinite ammo, and then once we started playing, that was when they had revamped everything, and the gun was gone. You had to build it, and then just like, because you're in space, sometimes if you get attacked, your suit might breach. It's random if it happens or not. If it happens and you don't have duct tape, you're just dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, okay, cool. And then even if you have oxygen to continuously like fill up your air meter, they'll still yell at you that your situation's critical because of the suit breach. Or if you're able to if you shove enough berries in your stomach to heal through the suffocation, you can just walk around suffocating to death, but with a belly full of berries.
That's right. Oh my. I'm very interested. I think that game is at the very least, I think it's going to improve a lot more than what's there, even if it doesn't get a full release. And the state it's in, I think if you find it on sale, it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, you'll easily get 10 to 15 hours of experience there. And the game looks nice for what it is, and
it's got some weird filter stuff, which I thought was interesting. You don't typically see games come with built-in reshade filters, basically, but
I don't know. I really want to check out this new patch eventually when we finally get around to it. And kind of like with Nier, I'm kind of keeping a close eye on how that game is gonna come along.
Space survival games, man.
Yeah, I love me some sci-fi. Oh well. So besides that, John, you haven't really been playing anything else?
Not too much. I played a little bit of No Man's Sky recently just to kind of check out some of the new content.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Since we are kind of on the topic of space survival games.
Speaking of space survival games.
Yeah,
how
but
far
I
have you gotten in that?
Delve into it. I think I played maybe an hour. Yeah, just
same.
To kind of goof around.
I played for a couple hours on a stream, and I haven't. It's not a very good streaming game, so I kind of didn't continue that on our stream night. I do. It's one of those things like I really want to check out that new stuff, but whenever I like get the time to sit down and be like, well, I could do No Man's Sky. I'm like,
Or right. I could do.
Maybe I'll do something else.
Or...
I don't know. I think the wounds are still too deep for that initial release. Still.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like that game is shaping up into what they should have launched. Like it feels like if they didn't have that partnership with Sony, No Man's Sky would have launched in early access. Everyone would have been like, "Well, it's early access; they'll get there."
Exactly.
And then it'd be fine. But because of the partnership with Sony, they couldn't launch early access. They had to say, "No, this is it. 1.0. We're done."
Yeah.
And
it's the same reason that Sony isn't getting PUBG either.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, we'll get we'll
I mean,
probably
see
get
it-
we'll
yeah.
get into that more later, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, Sony not having an early access or unfinished game program is maybe holding them back a little in the current way that games
In the way games
being
are
made.
developed. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. At least the indie games, like indie scene, right?
Yep.
Because you can make jokes all you want that, like, oh, Ubisoft put out Rainbow Six Siege and it's unfinished, but a year
Yeah.
later it's better now. And yeah, that's kind of right. But it's definitely a case of, oh, if Ubisoft or EA or Activision wanted to put out the equivalent of an early access game on the PS4, they would be allowed to.
Right.
They just wouldn't be able to, like, they probably have to check their marketing and stuff to not be like, this is like an early build or whatever, but they could 100% put one out like that and just be like, oh, we're going to work on this over the next 3 years.
If
like,
if PUBG doesn't push them over the edge, I'm not sure what will.
Right.
Given that game has sold 10 million copies in a few months, and that going to Xbox.
Right. That's real rough. I wonder if they're going to push Fortnite now, though, because Fortnite is basically an early access.
Yes.
And Paragon was basically an early access, both of which are big games from Epic.
Mm-hmm.
So
did Paragon go to PlayStation?
Yeah, Paragon's in. I want to say it's closed beta. I think as long as you call it a closed beta and not early access, you can charge $30 for an unfinished product.
Is that their distinction? Is that how they're? Oh my god!
I think that's how they're doing it. Because you can definitely pay money to play Paragon
access
on
to
PS4
a closed
right
beta
now.
by buying the game.
Yep.
Permanent closed beta. Oh, look at that.
Game will go free to play at some point, but until it
my
does.
Goodness. Oh well. Paul.
Yes, sir.
You've been real quiet.
I don't play the games you guys are talking about.
I understand.
Don't you like space?
What?
Not enough apples for you?
Whoa. Whoa.
No, it's not one.
Whoa.
There you go.
Sorry.
What have you been playing, Paul?
Didn't Mike have a long list of games to go through? You're gonna already go to me?
But we're gonna go to you because you haven't been talking.
Yeah, you've been quiet. Let's hear from the doctor.
Yeah,
right.
Our resident doctor of video games.
Doctor, you can't. Don't
There's
throw
air
in,
quotes here.
Don't throw in that hard D.
All right.
Wait,
Everyone
where's
likes
the
the hard
D?
D.
Where's the hard D?
It's in Paul.
Okay, so I regret not just telling you what I've been playing. The thing I've been playing that no one else can talk about, basically, would be the Switch original Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh, Mario XCom.
Yeah, Mario XCom, Mario Defense.
Mario XCom.
How
nice.
is that game?
Mm-hmm. That game's fun. It actually it did a really good job of making me want to play XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, which I also did.
So is it a good game, or is it like does it scratch that itch that XCOM
It's truly
scratches?
it's truly inspirational. No, it is good. It's different for sure.
Okay.
XCOM you play a lot more conservatively because losing a character means you're fucked.
Mm-hmm. Is there permadeath in Rabbids? Can I kill Mario?
You can't. Unfortunately, Nintendo would not allow them to include.
Will they allow me to kill Luigi permanently?
No, not even Yoshi, the thing that should die.
No,
Yoshi's never had permanent death.
Yoshi's
There's always a new one.
Right. Maybe Nintendo just wants you to have the ability to kill Yoshi forever. Because they agree with us. Yoshi's the worst.
Yoshi's the best.
Anyway, no, it's Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is a XCOM-like tactics game. My gripes would be it does do some weird design choices as far as like it forces you to use the Rabbids. You have to have at least one rabbit in each party.
I've heard there's a lot of Circus du Soleil shit.
There's a leap mechanic that I really enjoyed, honestly, where you run basically if a character can make it to another character, they can boost them in the air, and like you can upgrade this through the upgrade trees, but you can throw them basically further. So that allows for the maps to open up a lot more and some different strategic options that you wouldn't have in other tactics games kind of open up. But No, the things I don't like are it forces you. It kind of forces your party configuration because not only does it make you use a Rabbid, which is actually okay because I like a couple of the Rabbids more than Luigi for sure.
No, of
But
course.
no, Luigi's actually pretty sweet. He's a
Ugh.
sniper. He's a sniper in the game.
How is a
And
vacuum cleaner a sniping weapon?
it's got a long hose on it.
Oh
It
my
sucks.
gosh.
Oh, that's a better joke. All right.
It's not a joke.
He does, but he dabs sometimes when he sends out his little remote control car to blow up people.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what else I can say about that. I mean, it's pretty sweet.
So he's
How
a
far are you
millennial?
in the game?
I believe there are 4 chapters in the game, and I'm in chapter 3. I'm at the starting line of chapter 3. I have not crossed it. I just beat the boss of World 2. So
Okay.
I've
heard 3 is where that game really gets tough.
everyone keeps saying that on the other podcasts that are definitely not as popular as this one. They're mentioning that chapter 3 is where it gets hard, and maybe it's where it kind of wears out its welcome.
You talking
I'm-
about?
Oh,
That's I mean that's what I've been hearing.
like
But
as in people don't want to play it anymore?
people are like, this is hard, and maybe it's not like maybe the challenge isn't actually enjoyable. Like I'm just not having fun
Oh.
with this challenge.
Ooh.
I can't speak to that at all except for saying that I've heard it. But
Hmm.
I'm saving it right now because I don't have any other Switch games to play really, and I'm going to be doing some traveling, so I want to have it in my back pocket to play.
Are you traveling before Mario comes out?
Yes,
How big are
Hmm.
your pants that you can put your Switch in your back pocket?
Right? Come on.
I can fit my Switch in my coat pocket.
You wear your coat on your back? I guess you do.
I can.
Okay. Paul, I have a question for you about
Where
this
are you
Rabbids
go-
game.
Well,
All right.
before we get, where are you going?
Oh, I'm going to the land of the right. No, I'm not. I'm going to Hawaii.
Okay.
I didn't even finish my thought earlier though. Besides
what's-
forcing you to use a rabbit, it also forces you to use Mario. Like the party size is 3 people, and the game decides 2 of them.
Oh, it's only 3?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's fucking annoying. I wish they
mean-
would not force you to use anybody. Like you should be able to use whatever you
well,
want.
to be fair, Mario and Rabbid are both in the
It's
title.
kind of the title of the game.
Oh, quit defending their decision.
Well, you don't buy Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games and then get upset you're at the Olympic Games.
Well, I mean, I'm never going to defend the decision because I think this game is dumb, but I mean,
You fight rabbits in every battle, so why do I have to have one on my team?
because it's Mario and Rabbids, not Mario versus Rabbids.
Right.
Ooh,
Got him.
game idea. New game idea.
That's the second
sequel.
one.
But no, what I was going to ask Paul was, so we've both played XCom 2. I'll talk about that in a little bit, I think.
Right, you can
when we
speak to
move-
it even more than I can. Yeah.
Yeah. And we both played XCom 1, if not recently, then in the past.
XCOM 2012 or whatever.
Right, yeah, sorry.
Right,
The enemy
you
within,
should probably clarify that.
Not the, well, I mean, I've played the original as well.
I
don't know
have,
if Paul
I have
has.
not. I've not.
Oh, you should. That would be fun to watch. But
It would.
no, what I was gonna say is the XCOM games, at least the Firaxis XCOM games, have a really good habit. It's maybe not the right word, but they're really good at replayability. There's a lot of like go through the game again because of this random thing is different this time, or the maps I got here are different, or the continent bonuses are different, and all the way the countries are connected are different, or whatever.
Right. There's like a million variables in fucking XCOM.
Totally. Is any of that present in Mario, or is it, well, just get to the end, perfect all the battles, and then you're done?
No, I would say if XCOM is a pure tactics game with all these different like switches and turning points where you can end up with very different runs, which
Mhm.
it's that, which is why it's awesome because you can, like this kind of gameplay just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like your game will be totally different from mine. With Mario, like I said, they literally decide 2/3 of your party for you, in a manner of speaking.
So is there only one Rabbid, or
No, there's 4 rabbits. There's when I say they decided, I mean
okay? Well, so you
they
said
limit you.
Yeah,
they limit you.
you. Yeah, okay, limited choice.
Limited choice. 1/3 of your party is decided, and then 1/3 of your party is is limited to just half the cast of the game.
Half the cast. Okay.
Right, and then the other one can be whatever you want. It can be a rabbit or, a normal Nintendo character.
But rabbit or a normie?
A normie, not a fucking monster freak.
Are there rabbit versions of all the normal characters?
Yeah, it's literally just it's Mario. Spoilers. It's Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Yoshi, and then Rabbid. All of those things.
Okay.
And those are your characters. I think it'd be great if they would have been like Mario and Rabbid Mario have to be in every party because it's in the name.
That'd be pretty good.
Like, oh, good, okay.
Or
glad
like
you made this game.
You could swap Mario out for Rabbid Mario, but there always had to be a Mario.
That would be okay. I'd be more okay with that, especially if Rabbid Mario could take care of both of those slots. That'd be fine. I just think that'd be fun because anyway, to answer your question, no, it's not like XCOM in that regard. The way they kind of add replayability is they make it into a bit of a puzzle game. They add these challenges to worlds you've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
So I say I've only been through World 1 and World 2, but I've gone back to World 1 and done all but one of the challenge missions. They had like a new boss to the world if you go back to beat it again, like a secret boss.
Okay.
And I'm assuming they do that in all the worlds. I don't know, but I'm assuming they do. And then the challenges are like special mission requirements, like do this with only this person in this amount of time, or with this ridiculous challenge. Like one was like beat this in one turn, and you have to know how to like.
I
would have to know how to use my movement and how to position people to do that in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you think about doing something in one turn, that's not a tactics decision. That's
right. That's a puzzle. The puzzle. Right.
It's a puzzle. So I'd say Rabbids makes a good point, or Mario plus Rabbids makes a good puzzle game, like a tactics puzzle hybrid, more than it does a pure XCOM copy, which is fine. I think a pure XCOM copy maybe would be more what I would want personally, but I can see where this would be appealing to people who don't want XCOM 2. Who don't want just XCOM 2 with Mario slapped on it. Like, this has a little bit, at least they did something a little different. Like, they made it their own.
Yeah, they make mods for that reason. If you want to play XCOM 2 with Mario and Luigi saving the world,
oh my god, you could.
They would look like abominations in that game, but I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna make my next soldier Rabbid Mario.
Mario went to New Donk City, discovered that it was under attack by the elders.
No, Rabbid Mario. He's gonna be my next soldier in XCOM 2.
Foaming at the mouth.
Oh my god, Rabbid Mario is actually an awesome character. The characters all have these little shticks, and his is just he just blows shit up around him, and he's more likely to hurt your own team and himself than he is to hurt the enemy. But he does a lot of damage. He's just heavy damage. Like,
it's a question.
All close range. Yes, sir.
Regarding your complaint about picking your party,
Mm.
would you rather it be a situation where maybe a slightly increased party size and they didn't have as many characters you could choose from, or you wouldn't choose from them at all at that point?
Honestly, if they just even added one more character to make it a 4-player squad, and they left the restrictions, I'd feel better about it. Take away the restrictions, I'm fine with it. But doing both disappoints me. I recommend it, honestly. I really enjoy. It's my kind of game. So.
Now, do you recommend it because you're looking for things on the Switch to play, or because you really think it's
I would play this on PC or on PS4. I mean, obviously it's Nintendo, I can't, but
right.
I would have bought this on Steam and played it just as much as I have already. Probably more. I would have already beaten it by now.
If it was on another platform.
Yeah, because I wasn't lying. Like I really do want to save it for the trip because I don't know what I'm going to play on the plane and stuff.
I'm sure you can find some nindies.
I know. I've thought about that. I might download the DLC
why don't you get Hollow Knight?
Shantae's got that DLC. I don't think Hollow Knight's out on Switch yet, is it?
I think it is. Let me double check. I thought I saw some people talking about it.
I keep on seeing news about Stardew Valley.
I'm not seeing a thing.
I guess Hollow Knight isn't coming out.
Maybe not. I thought for sure it was already out for Switch. Oh well, we'll find out later, and then we'll bring it up again.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else have you been playing?
Segue, XCOM 2 War of the Chosen.
Mm-hmm. That's the expansion for XCOM 2, correct?
Yeah. I had played
Yes.
played it when it came out, and then this expansion came out, and Mike started playing it, and I was like, I'm not gonna play that game. And then I started playing this Mario game, and I was like, man, I really wish this was better. And I downloaded War of the Chosen.
Yep. War of the Chosen's very good. As someone who
What's so different? What does it change about XCOM 2? Because I understand that
Ooh.
the expansion in the first one kind of changed the game, right? Does it do
Yeah.
the same thing here?
So this is a better question for Paul, because I just to preface this, I want to say this is my first time playing XCOM 2 at all. I waited until the expansion came out, basically, and then started playing through it all together. So I've got no idea of what was before.
Yeah.
But I really like the first Firaxis XCOM, so I was like, I'll wait until they fix the bugs, and then jumped in with this expansion. But
Yeah, so Mike's played a lot more War of the Chosen than I have, so I'll let him speak to the specifics on the game
well,
itself.
somebody's got to speak to it.
No, I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you the differences. I'll tell you what's new.
yeah. You tell me what's new,
Okay.
and then I'll tell you the ending.
There
It
you
just
go.
seems like each of you talk. You're like, well, I'm gonna let Paul speak to that. Well, I'm gonna let Mike speak to that.
Actually,
Well-
Jimmy, can you tell me what's up with the War of the Chosen?
Yeah,
well,
Jimmy.
I'm gonna let Mike and Paul speak to that because I haven't played it.
Listen, base model Paul is gone forever.
Oh,
Long live
spoilers!
base
That
model
is
Paul.
from our streaming series of XCOM 2, where there are multiple Pauls, which you can check out normally on Friday nights. But yeah, who's going to talk about XCOM 2?
I'll just say that they added XCOM 2's expansion, where the Chosen added 3 factions and 3 Chosen. The factions are special units you can recruit for your team under 3 archetypes, and the Chosen are 3 super bad enemies that they took straight out of Shadow of Mordor.
Yes, pretty much.
And again, in the same basic 3 archetype. I mean, it kind of makes itself. Once you understand what it is, you're like, oh, well, of course you would do that.
Right. You added
but-
3 of these new guys, and now here's 3 like hero units to essentially counter them and you.
Yeah. So it definitely it ties into the game like Mike's gonna say he didn't play XCOM 2 originally. This goes right into the story, like it just weaves right in, just like Enemy Within did to Enemy Unknown.
Yeah,
So
totally.
you start a new playthrough, and the Chosen are just part of the game. Like it doesn't change the overall story. It just adds some new features to it, kind of makes it a little fuller and a little more, I guess.
More robust.
Yeah.
So it's like an added mechanic.
Yeah, so like I guess originally the concept of the resistance on Earth was just that there's the resistance that's been replaced with there are 3 factions that you are trying to gain favors for and doing missions for and getting rewards from, and each one of the factions give you a powerful hero unit with special skills, and the Chosen will each Chosen will guard a section of the Earth. And while you do missions in that area, they have a chance to just show up and try to kidnap your soldiers or interrogate them to learn more about you. And if that fills up all the way, then they can launch an assault on you. And all this stuff, it gets integrated into the base game. Like they added a new tired meter, so that you can't just use the same squad over and over again because your soldiers will get sleepy because they're
And the
little
romance
sleepy
meter.
boys.
I call it the romance meter.
They took the bond concept from
romance
Fire
meter.
Emblem. If your soldiers are hanging out together and like each other enough, they can get special benefits from that.
Special benefits.
They can you can give each other a turn for free, baby. Winky face.
Mike, don't ruin it for me. But what do you get the future children? Well, how do they do the future mechanic where your babies come back and fight for you?
That is, you recruit a squad. You get a squatty, and then you say you are the son of this robot and this Templar.
Oh, so you have to make your own.
Yeah, you have to
story.
make your own. There's no.
This requires imagination. I don't.
No story benefits to the bond system. Just purely mechanical, tactical benefits.
Disappointing.
It's kind of interesting because of the added tired meter. The 2 previous story mission DLCs they had put out, the Alien Hunters and Shen's Last Gift, are disabled by default. If you use what they call the integrated option, they just show up as research items and are just kind of there available for you to research and kind of play with. If you disable the this option, it will Instead, because the way they worked originally in the base game, as I understand, is they were just missions you would go do, and they would unlock these new effects. Well, because they were designed when the tired meter didn't exist, one of the missions is like 4 or 5 screens long. There's like multiple teleports to different locations in it. And if you take your squad through that mission in War of the Chosen, they will be tired for weeks, if not months, because of how it's been designed. Which is
That
why
seems really bad.
yeah, it's kind of
That's probably why,
shitty.
I mean, that's
It's
probably why it deactivated.
yeah,
They
it's
knew
why
that.
it's why by default you don't get the story mission. You just get all the stuff you would get out of it, but you can choose to disable that and play it that way if you want. Also, the launcher for War of the Chosen is nice in that it lets you choose if you want to launch with the expansion or not. It's also a problem because while this expansion comes with an incredible amount of bug fixes and performance tweaks, like the game went from taking about a minute to load on my SSD to loading before the load screen had come up from fading to black with War of the Chosen. But because you have to select War of the Chosen on the launcher, if you're like Paul and aren't paying attention, you just click the big green play button and get confused why none of the new stuff has shown up.
I only played 3
Uh-oh.
missions before I realized that. That was like only an hour and a half of my time.
Oh boy, that's a long time.
I kept wondering when the Chosen were going to show up. I was like, well, maybe the Chosen will show up first, or when's the mission going to come where I encounter the Lost?
Where's the Chosen? Where's the Lost? Oh fuck, the Lost is another new mechanic. Like
It is.
so
Neutral faction.
Yeah, the Lost is this neutral zombie faction kind of where the idea is the aliens in the first game were dropping these pods on cities that caused humans to basically mutate into these weird zombie things that will attack you or the aliens that you're fighting on the map. And that you summon hordes of them like any good zombie movie with loud explosions or sometimes gunshots will set it off if it's like a crit or something, but it's typically explosions or like kicking open doors. And so if you're on a mission with a lot of the Lost, it could be like I had to fight 80 enemies on this map because 40 of them were these like one-shot Lost guys that just kept swarming me and stuff. And it's a really interesting mechanic. If only because they also add with the faction stuff, the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood / like Facebook / Mass Effect / WoW style of take your little squad boys and send them off on a mission, and the timer finishes and you get a reward. Except in this case, you're sending your actual soldiers you could be sending out on the tactical field. And sometimes, if you're not careful, they can be ambushed, and then you have a mission with 2 or 3 soldiers that you sent out, basically trying to haul ass across a really long map while under fire from the alien forces and the Lost, typically, just so you can evac without having somebody die, which is a really interesting change of pace for that game, where it's typically you are going in to kill somebody or extract somebody or just wipe the map or whatever.
It's kind of like you're getting ambushed
Yeah, totally.
rather than doing the ambushing.
Yeah, it's a really fun mission that comes up. I think not enough. Like I think I saw it once through my entire playthrough because it's really easy to counter the negative effects on those missions. Like one of the effects is the Chosen might just kidnap one of your guys or attack you while you're out there, and so you have to have them like battle ready to go. But I never did because the Chosen just never showed up. But they do show up in the regular tactical missions, and when they do, oh my god, for whatever reason the game has the Chosen Assassin. This is a melee oriented super unit basically, as like the first one that you meet if you go through with the tutorial or if you go through the scripted way. On subsequent plays, you can choose which faction you want to meet first and like which Chosen will be around you or whatever.
She's a tough son of a bitch.
She's a tough son of a bitch. She gets to basically double move, make a melee attack, and then move away again. And if she breaks line of sight and you don't see her anymore, she will then come back around and continue to basically harass and harangue you until you kill her or she's killed every one of your team members. Spoilers, it's how we lost Space Model Paul in the stream.
And nobody's in Overwatch, like she just gets away with it every time.
Right, because she has unique perks, so she'll have stuff like, oh, I don't trigger Overwatch fire, so you can't even go in Overwatch to protect yourself against me. Or, oh, I'm immune to explosives, so You can blow up the cover I'm behind, but it does no damage to me. But they also get some weaknesses. So they'll get stuff like, oh, I'm super weak to melee weapons. They'll do double damage. Or if you're above me when you shoot me, it does more damage. Or I take extra damage from this particular faction. And so there's ways of dealing with them. And comparatively, I found the other two chosen, this warlock who's a psychic focused kind of guy, and the hunter who's like a long range sniper. They were both incredibly easy to deal with. And it might just be the fact that by that point I was in the mid game and the late game. And so I had way better soldiers and way better armor and way better guns. But it was also like, if the warlock shows up, you ignore him until you catch up to him. He summons a couple of like 3 health guys that do 3 to 4 damage, and you just kill them pretty quickly, and then you just shoot him to death. Or if the hunter shows up, the biggest thing he can do from across the map is hit you with a big shot that will destroy cover, but the game shows you everywhere on the tactical map that you will take damage, so you just move out of the damage zone. And it's like, oh, one soldier can't stand here, like he can't advance forward anymore. The rest of my squad is just going to move up and shoot this guy to death.
Right. Yeah. No. You're right. I fought against both of them in the early game because I did a custom game, and it had nothing to do with your progress. Those two are just huge pussies.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. From what you've told me about all the chosen, it definitely sounds like it's just by design. The rest are a lot easier than the one.
Yeah.
Comparatively. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is when you do finally kill them, because it's a process to find where they live and snuff them out permanently. Otherwise, if you kill them on a mission, they just come back later. The game rewards you with some pretty good weapons. Like the chosen sniper rifle lets you move and shoot. So because normally in that game, sniper rifles you can't move and then shoot the sniper. You have to shoot a pistol. With that rifle, you can move and shoot, or whatever. With the assassin chosen gives you a really strong shotgun and a sword that never misses. So you can build a melee build knowing full well that you aren't going to have an issue where you run up and miss a 90% sword swing, which can lead to some hilarious combos later when you get the skill that lets you make a melee attack. Or that says that you get your action points refunded every time you get a kill with melee. So you just turn that on, use that sword, and become a blender, basically, running across the map and one-shotting as many things as you can.
Nice.
Like I had a section on the final mission where I think one guy using that skill took out 8 aliens.
Whoa.
Because he was able to just bounce back and forth and be like, you've got 2 health, you're dead. You've got 2 health, you're dead. You've got 4 health, you're dead. And then and then when he ran out of melee range, you still get an action back, so I just had him walk up and shoot.
And then you had his buddy give him an extra action.
And then his buddy, yeah, totally.
He murdered 7 more people.
Yep, exactly. So it's really good. I really like I feel like every couple years I want to play an XCom. Because I really liked the first Firaxis game, but I didn't like it enough to get the expansion for it because I'd kind of burned out on it. And so I was like, okay, XCOM 2 seems kind of cool, but it's kind of buggy. I'll wait until they fix it. And when I was looking into that...
The original came out in the 90s, right?
Yeah, the original game is a 90s, I want to say early 90s, but it might have been mid 90s.
I remember getting a disc with a demo of it from PC Gamer way back in the day.
94.
Yeah. Because my dad would get magazines occasionally. We'd get those demo discs that they used to send out.
That game.
That's the only thing I remember from that.
Ooh, those old games. If you go back to them now, hey, more power to the people that love those things. Those old games are definitely, you play through it for the first 30, 45, 50 minutes, and if you don't get the right RNG, you just turn it off and restart. Because you can't win. And you won't realize you can't win if you're new. And so you'll play for another 4 or 5 hours and then suddenly realize, oh, I'm understaffed. Oh, I don't have enough research. Oh, I don't have enough supplies, and then have to restart. It's really unforgiving.
That's rough.
But it does some stuff that this game doesn't, and so there are modern equivalents of that. I think Xenonauts is like a what if they made the XCOM XCOM Enemy Unknown, the very first 1994 game. What if they made that now? and that's basically what Xenonauts is. You have time units that dictate how long all your actions take, and you can put the corpses of your friends in your backpack to bring them home.
Oh,
And you can like
jeez.
throw the corpses of aliens at things because it's just an object you can pick up and throw and stuff like that.
Wow.
But no, I think if you liked the first Firaxis XCOM game and you want to play some more of that, or something similar, or if you like the Mario and Rabbids game, like Paul was saying, but you want something that's a bit more like on the fly, kind of adjusting your plans and kind of bouncing from that. I think this with War of the Chosen, which admittedly is saying go buy this, I think $50 game and $30 expansion, which takes up 60 gigs of your hard drive, but it's a
Wow.
really, really good experience. I enjoyed my time with it immensely. It still suffers from the problem the first Firaxis game did, which is once you've kind of maxed out your tech tree, you get to victory lap pretty hard, where nothing can really, like, you can be killed, but you have to be kind of not paying a lot of attention. You can like
Or bad.
Like I was loading into with my personal save, the one that I wasn't streaming, near the end of that game. I was skipping missions I just didn't want to do because I was like, this seems like it would be frustrating. I'm just not going to do these because it can't hurt me. There's enough ways to like lower the game ending penalty enough that it's not going to be a problem. And I would literally just run my guys straight up and then be like, all right, these three guys can kill any enemy pods that I find. So I can just have them basically, as long as I'm careful with these three guys, the rest of my squad can do whatever. And I was running people around. I was like running up behind people and doing goofy melee attacks just to be like, just because I was like, I've never used this skill before. What's it do? Oh, cool. Stuff like that. And then it ended up making the final mission was kind of easy as a result. But it's like, I was playing on the like, it's basically easy. It's like the normal difficulty mode. And so there are definitely ways to make that game harder. But I really enjoyed my time with it. I don't know if I'm going to go back and play like a harder difficulty playthrough. I'll probably finish the stream playthrough, either until we lose because all the balls are dead,
Yeah,
or we win. But I definitely am enjoying the time with it.
I've really enjoyed watching this game because I've been watching the first game on the giant bomb thing that they've been doing. Was it Exquisite Core? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Exquisite Core. And
then I've enjoyed watching you play XCOM 2 on Fridays. That's been fun. Building the characters with you and interacting with that's been fun. I still don't think I would like to play this game personally. Because certain things would really annoy me. Losing characters like that and dealing with how cheesy like those special characters can be.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff in there that can be kind of frustrating.
Like even watching what happened last time you were playing where we lost some people like that made me mad enough, and it wasn't even my game. So I'm like, nope, not for me. But I've enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, even if you don't like playing these kinds of games, I think they're cool to watch because you can get invested in the characters, like you said. And then, hey, if somebody does a mission and half the squad is killed, it wasn't your call. Like, you didn't make those calls, so you can get to be like, you killed my son. You killed Paul Larange.
Right. Losing Paul Larange
was rough.
Was really, man, that was bad.
It hurt us all in our heart.
Anyway, let's move on. Seth is now here. He's back from work.
I'm here.
So we are now joined by longtime special guest Seth Belgard.
I'm the super special guest.
At this point, I think you're just a regular member.
That special.
I think you've been
email demands for it.
Yeah, all those email demands. I think that were sent by you.
Hey.
I think. But anyway, welcome.
Hey, good to be back.
Well, what have you been playing, Seth? Why don't we just jump right into you?
Other than our general games together, I played and beat Horizon Zero Dawn completely.
Yeah,
and it was
platinum.
Yeah, it was very, very good. Very good. I liked it quite a lot. And one of our members here, he who will not be named, is doing himself a great injustice by not finishing the game.
Wait, Paul?
I made it to Meridian. I'm gonna play it. I'm probably definitely gonna play it.
Probably definitely.
Probably, definitely.
Probably, definitely.
I'm enjoying. I'm not talking shit, man. I like it. I just games, man.
Are you taking your
Yeah.
PS4 to Hawaii?
No.
Are you?
What was that?
That's because that was sad because he knows he's gonna buy a PS4 down there.
Right. I'm just bringing a copy of the game.
Or is
it's called a
it
burner
sad?
PS4.
Or is it sad because you were told you couldn't?
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a Jen stepped in there.
Yeah.
Listen, next gen
Looks
console.
next gen would never do that.
So how's
next
Horizon
gen is all about taking your games on the go.
Seth, tell me more about Horizon Zero Dawn.
All right. Well, how much do you want me to get?
Try to be non-spoily.
I mean, I say I went over the basics of it a couple months ago.
Right.
You obviously are now the expert.
Just kind of, what were your impressions of the game? Trying to be as non-spoily as possible.
Without going into it, the story is phenomenal. I loved how they tied everything into it. How, a lot of the post-apocalyptic things that you play, just by the end of the game, you're like, okay, I still don't know why we're where we're at in this world. It's not the case in this game. They do a very good job of the storytelling with this world and with things that are going to come after. The gameplay is incredible. It's very fast paced. The only thing about the gameplay I have one negative. The inventory is horrible. I run out of space so much, and that's because as the game progresses, you get these different type of ammunitions, and you can always, no matter what, you can always craft whatever ammo you need while in the middle of the fight, running, whatever you need. You can do it right there on the fly. But to do that, you have to keep the material with you to be able to do it. And to keep the materials you need really hinders you because you only have like 100 spaces. And I mean, in a lengthy fight, you'll blow through a lot of mats trying to do the fight. So you're left with ending up having all your inventory space taken. So when you kill something, you're ending up dropping things to try to make room for the rare drop you just got and things like that. That was my only annoying.
It's like encumbrance is never fun. I mean, I know it's not literally encumbrance, but it kind of...
Oh, it's annoying in every game. Yeah. But in terms of ammunition, so you've made it sound like there's a finite amount of arrows you have. Is that only for the special arrows, or does normal arrows you have unlimited amount of?
No, you do not have unlimited of any type of ammunition.
Okay.
You upgrade all your inventories, including your resources, which is how you craft your ammunition. All those are upgradable throughout the game. You normally, by killing wildlife, you get...
Is it like the Far Cry thing where like you gather certain pieces of an animal?
I want to say Far Cry like a million times because they like, short of using the word wallet, it's like the same fucking thing. Like,
right. And so you'll need like 20 pieces of wood, a fox skin, and a fish bone to upgrade something. And that's basically exactly how it is.
Yeah, that sounds like Far Cry.
So you're able to do that and upgrade your inventories. By the end of the game, you're looking at like you can hold 30 of each of the normal arrows and probably 20 of the special arrows. So, I mean, you're able to do a lot. And the fact that you can craft them is you technically have an infinite amount as long as you're able to craft and keep going as needed.
Are the normal arrows, like, is the material difficult to come by?
No. The normal arrows are simply sticks and arrowheads or metal shards, which metal shards drop off of every robot you kill. So that they're plentiful. Metal shards, it's also odd. The metal shards that you're using to craft your arrowheads are also what is used for as currency in the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you're literally shooting away money when you...
Really. You really are.
Hmm.
It's weird.
Oh, it's like
But-
Metro in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Kinda, yeah.
But it's very neat. They make it to where every single robot has its strengths and weaknesses, and if you memorize them, you can use your different arrows to do what you need to do. Something that's really nice in the game is the mobs seem to have much bigger hitboxes than what you would expect. Like, I'll just be running through and fire off arrows at stuff thinking there's no way I'm going to hit it and kill it. And
So you're
there's
Hanzo.
kinda.
Shooting tree trunks.
That's cool.
But
I really want to play this game. I don't think I'm gonna get to it this year though, especially with what's left coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still, I mean, where I really wanted to play it from the moment it came out. So I didn't mind dropping the money on it. But if you
Yeah.
have so many other things, look at it this way. When you finally get to it, you'll be able to pick it up cheaper, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
That
that'll be
expansion's
nice.
coming.
Mhm.
Yeah, November 7th, the Frozen Wilds is coming out, and it'll be my next month's most anticipated game for November.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. By the time you buy it, Jimmy, you'll get it all together for less
I was about
than
to
each of us
say,
paid
like,
for it.
by the time I get it, it'll be coming in a package deal that'll be cheap.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I will get to it eventually. It looks really fun.
It is. It's a fun game to play. I enjoyed it.
You been playing anything else?
I mean, games with y'all, PUBG, the other game that we'll talk about later.
Right.
Speaking of PUBG, how about that fog?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Fog's so good.
So
Wait,
good.
hold on.
Fuck PUBG.
All right. Yeah, there you go. Jimmy's got it going. Jimmy's got it.
It's that noisy fog. Get out of here, fog.
It's like the fog's real loud. Fog, man, it's so good. It adds
gives you that
it adds a
creeper.
unique layer to that game.
Mm.
It's awesome.
Every time you play that game, you're always walking around like, God, is there somebody right behind me? You're always jumpy because you know you could be shot at any moment.
Especially
But
in the
man,
first
that
person,
fog
the
level,
first person mode. Like,
right. That fog mode though, like you are scared to death the whole time you're playing because you can't see
when you're in a
anything.
city, especially, like that's when it's real bad.
Yeah, I love it's definitely my favorite weather to play right now.
Yeah,
It's great.
I think so too. Because
It's hard to say because it's new, but
right.
like, I definitely get excited every time we get a fog map.
Yeah, me too. I think there's something really striking about knowing that visibility has been cut down so low for everybody,
Mhm.
especially when you combine it with first person where you can't see behind you unless you're physically
Right,
turned around
right.
and stuff.
That's why I personally like the first person mode so much as well. Like, not just because I like playing first person shooters more than third person shooters,
You just like being
because
short.
but because like everyone has lost the ability to look behind them. So it's added this like little extra layer to it. But
And it takes
Yeah.
the one of the most annoying things in the game is getting sniped across the map because if somebody gets lucky with a crate, I mean, you can be taken out a long way away in this game. The visibility is insane on an
Yeah.
open map. So it takes that away. The games definitely seem to be more intense in the later parts of the game. We'll be down to like 2 circles left, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, there's still 30 people left. This is going to be
Mhm.
tight."
and you can't
you
see
never
any of
had
them.
that in
Like,
the other game.
yeah, you're in like a 1,000 square foot area, and there's 40 people left. You can't even see because of the fog.
Right.
So yeah, it's cool.
You'll hear footsteps and can't see whoever's making the footstep.
Right. Yeah, you can hear people before you can even see them.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
It's crazy. Lots of-
Mike.
Yeah, it's me. What's up?
You said you mentioned you were playing XCom.
Yeah, I did. I played the XCom.
What else have you played in the past month or so?
Have you heard of a little game called Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games?
I have heard of that game.
Okay, well, I'm not playing it, but I
Okay,
just wanted to
good.
make sure that you had heard of
Because
it.
that game,
Nintendo spent a lot of money on that game.
Ooh.
No, I've been playing a little game that I think I said might have been one of my most anticipated games. I can't remember for sure. Maybe it was what I was looking forward to
Yes.
last month, but it's a little game that goes by the name Yakuza Kiwami.
This was your most anticipated game from 2 episodes ago.
Okay,
I
that's what it
believe.
was. I should mention.
But you hadn't gotten it yet last month.
Right, yes, because we recorded before it had come out.
Yes.
That's what it was. Well, I should mention real quick before we start talking about Yakuza Kiwami that Kiwami means extreme,
Mm-hmm.
which they remind you of very often at the beginning of that game. Uh,
Okay.
It is very much a Death Note, all according to Keikaku. Translator note: Keikaku means plan.
Okay.
Situation. So to explain what's going on, the Yakuza Kiwami is an HD remaster remake. I can never remember which term you want to use of the very first Yakuza game, except without the English dub, because when it came out in the States, it was given this like celebrity voice cast. Like one of the characters in this game was
Yeah.
voiced by Mark Hamill.
Right.
To give you an idea. And in the voice, aside from Mark Hamill, they were all really bad at it. It was very flat and very not good. It was like losing Mark Hamill is like the only bad part about them going all to Japanese only. But it's a remake of that very first PlayStation 2 game, done in the Yakuza 5 engine, which was designed for PS3,
Right.
using models and gameplay, like side stories and side quests, like side activities is the better way to describe it, from Yakuza 0, which was the prequel that was released earlier this year, also on the Yakuza 5 engine, also designed for the PS3, now
Right.
out for the PS4 in the States. And
Right.
as a result, it's got a lot of weird baggage, or cruft is maybe the best way to describe it, where it's like, oh, this is from before the series had multiple fighting styles. Oh, this is from before the series knew what side content was. So here's all the stuff from the previous game, because it's the easiest to put in here, but also here's some new stuff sprinkled on top. An example of which is in the Yakuza series, sort of like Sleeping Dogs or a lot of other kind of games in this style, you have a heat meter. It's like as you punch dudes and don't get punched, you can do special moves. Like I can hit you really hard with this bike, or I can shove this orange in your mouth and then choke slam you on the ground or whatever. They added Kiwami heat moves, because remember, Kiwami means extreme.
Extreme heat.
Mm-hmm. Which are used only on boss fights to stop a new mechanic from happening, because for whatever reason, they decided to add this mechanic where during boss fights, the bosses will hunch down and start to heal, and they'll glow one of 4 colors. And then you need to switch to the fighting style that matches their color and use a Kiwami heat move on them to do a bunch of bonus damage and to stop their health regeneration.
Okay.
Seems okay. Encourages you to switch your stances in combat, or at least switch them there. And it gives you a big bonus damage if you match it correctly, and it rewards you for saving your heat up for the
Like a rock, paper, scissors thing type deal?
Kind of, except you can't really fuck it up because it doesn't let you do it unless you're in the right stance. It's just a matter of, oh, did you save a heat to do this action? Okay, cool. Switch to this one and go. The problem comes from the fact that if you don't know this, the tutorial tells you all about the system, but doesn't tell you about the fact that when you finally get into the game proper, you have lost all of your fighting moves, because there's a 10-year gap from the prologue to when the game starts.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go to prison because a buddy of yours, your sworn brother, a man by the name of Nishikiyama, while defending who is essentially your love interest from your Yakuza boss, shoots him to death. And this is a big deal, because even though they're Yakuza, and this is for our those of you out there listening who are less familiar with non-American culture, which is like the most pretentious way I could have said this. Guns aren't as big a deal in Japan. Well, not as common, I should say, in Japan. So the idea of, oh, this gangster shot this guy is a big fucking deal.
That's a big deal in Japan.
Totally. Yeah. Like pulling a gun out is a big fucking deal. And so you find your sworn brother who's holding a gun over the corpse of essentially your not direct commander, but the guy above that guy. and he tells you, oh, he was like trying to force himself on this girl, and I had to shoot him to stop him. Oh no, no, no. And then you take the fall for him. You're like, look, give me the gun, go get her somewhere safe, don't let the cops know you were here. I will take the rap for this. Because your character at that point was like getting ready to start his own family in the Yakuza and was like going up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you spend 10 years in prison and you come back out. And when you come out of prison, you've lost all your moves, your health is down to normal. They give you a little abilities during the prologue. But when they introduce you in the prologue of like, hey, here's how you do these Kiwami heat moves, they're new for this game. They don't then go to tell you, hey, you lost all your moves, including the Kiwami heat moves. So if you don't know about that, you can go to the first boss fight, which is pretty early on, and be unable to stop him from healing in the middle of it.
And be completely fucked. Okay.
Right. Not completely. You still get through that fight. One of the stances is pretty strong. It just means that this like 15-minute or this like 5-minute fight probably turns into a 10 to 15-minute fight. Because now
that's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible, but it's really frustrating because that fight is also not very good. It's not a fun fight. The boss has a lot of super armor, so he can just kind of soak through your attacks and keep smacking you, and has like likes to grab you a lot. And it's weird. He was a pushover in the very first game, and so it seems like they were trying to make him a bigger threat here because all the characters like talk up how, oh, this is like he's the strongest fucker that we have here. Like you're fucked. And then in the first game, you hit him with one move over and over until he dies. In this game, it's less of that, but it's more of, oh, cool, you're healing and I can't stop you. This is fucked. But aside from that, it's good to have the first Yakuza game in HD, easy to play, like not don't need to bust out a PS2 emulator or PS2 to play it,
right?
To like get into the story, because I think we mentioned this last month's podcast. Yakuza 0 did very well in the West. It's like the first time this series and this franchise has done well.
I think Kiwami did okay too.
Kiwami is doing pretty good. Kiwami's doing well enough that they have already announced Kiwami 2.
Yes. It sounds like they're... I mean, all things going according to plan, they're probably going to do this with all of the rest.
Right. It sounds like what the plan is probably going to be, put out Kiwami 2, put out Yakuza 6 in Japan, put out Kiwami 2 here in the States, and then before Yakuza 6 comes over, they might just do like an HD package, because 3, 4, and 5 were all on the PS3. So they might just bundle those as an HD remaster.
Just do an up-res, maybe I don't know, because I mean, maybe part of what's making it so successful is the Zero stuff.
That is true.
So maybe they'll do a little bit of work on them. Yeah,
it also doesn't hurt that like Kiwami is a $30 game. Or like 30 or 40. It's not full price, which is nice. Zero was $60, but it was also like twice the length because that game has 2 playable characters.
It's a really long game, isn't it?
Zero is really long, especially if you do all the side activities. But if you just want to get in, see the story, like learn about this cool badass Yakuza boy who is way into doing the right thing. I'm going to go commit crimes now. P.S. I'm going to teach a fucking dominatrix how to properly make men submit to her. And then I'm going to go race little pocket cars on this track against little kids. And then I'm going to collect trading cards of like women in bikinis dressed up like bugs so I can fight them at the like Club Sega down the street. It's pretty good.
It's definitely a very Japanese game.
Yes, absolutely. If you like the Shenmue series, Yakuza is kind of the evolution of Shenmue, in a kind of weird way. I said evolution, right? You evolve past all the bad parts. But no, I'm really enjoying my time with it. I think we might do some streams with it at some point. I don't know if I want to start from the beginning or maybe just kind of jump in at some point with it during the week. Jump in and do
some side stuff.
Yeah, but
that might be cool.
It's pretty fun. The combat can get kind of repetitive, but it's fun. You play for a couple hours, do some fights, see some story, learn about how much the Yakuza respect honor and cut off each other's fingers, and then swear up and down that even though you've been shot 6 times, you can still live.
Have you been playing anything else?
I've touched some stuff. I started Wolfenstein from 2014. The new, not the new Colossus, that's the new one, but the New Order, I think is what it's called.
The new old. The old new.
Yeah, the new old.
The new old. Yeah, that's the way
Yeah.
to put it. Yeah.
The new older. No, I've been trying to play that game because I was like, okay, the trailer at E3 for Wolfenstein 2 was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And I want to see that game, and it's a direct sequel. So I got to play through Wolfenstein at some point. But
I've heard very good things about that game.
Yes.
The one you're playing.
I've heard very good things as well.
So I think at the very least you'll be playing a game that you will be.
Yeah, I will. Even if Wolfenstein 2 is bad or I never get to it, Wolfenstein 1 should be good enough to justify the $9 purchase.
Right.
But yeah, I just started that, so I'm not super far. I just got to the point where the timeline splits basically because there's a choice very early in that game where you choose to save one of two squad members, and that picks what timeline you go into.
That seemed so weird.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, I have I'm interested to see if that's a like major change or if it's just you get lockpicks now.
Like not knowing what that differences are.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only two things I can guess.
Yeah.
Were it's at the beginning of the game, so I mean it's whatever. There was an older guy and a younger guy.
Right. It's like
the only thing I can guess just from that information is that things will be different based on how the different generations look on what happened.
Right. That's my assumption because after you make that choice, there's a little bit of gameplay, and then you jump forward from 1946 to 1960s. So there's a big 20-year jump. And so it's interesting to see if it's like, oh, the old veteran doesn't want to fight anymore versus, oh, the young kid still does, or whatever the changes might be. But yeah, I just started that. Looking forward to playing some more of it. I just started a game called Heat Signature. It's a little indie game by the guys that made Gunpoint, if you're familiar with that indie game.
I'm not.
So Gunpoint was really interesting. You played as a detective, kind of like Private Eye, and the whole gimmick with it was you could rewire all the switches in a level. So you would come up to a building and it would have a door switch, a light switch, some elevators, and a camera. And you could make.
I thought the switches weren't not enough of them were being made. Where did they get all these?
So that's the thing is this was before. It was when they were making the Wii U, and no one was buying those. They had plenty of time to make all these switches to get ready.
Gotcha.
So that's why there's so many of them in this game.
I mean, is this where the shortage is coming from? They're all in this game?
They all ended up in this game from 2013, and no one went back to look.
Oh, that makes so much sense now.
Totally. But the way the game works is you're basically you're always trying to break in somewhere and get something either get some information or find a person, kill a person, something similar to that. It's been a while since I've played it.
Is it like an action game?
No, it's very much it's a side scroller with a lot of pausing. Because the idea is you find a building, you rewire a bunch of stuff, so it's like, okay, I hit the door switch outside, and that will call the elevator next to this guard, who will then come to investigate, walk in front of a camera, which will trigger this other door, which will alert this guard, and now that they're both distracted, I can slip through here. Or whatever, because despite being called Gunpoint, your gun only has, I want to say, one bullet, so you only get one actual ranged attack, and then you have to get up close to stealth kill guys. But it was a really cool, interesting system that I really liked. It wasn't a very long game, but I really enjoyed my time with it. And so when I heard, oh, the guy who made that game is putting out a new game called Heat Signature, I was like, sure. And when I found out that the website for that game is spaceships.cool or starships.cool, I think it's spaceships.cool.
Okay.
I was like, okay, yeah, because the whole premise is essentially there are 4 different factions in space, and you're this not necessarily neutral faction, but you rose up and overthrew one of the factions that had taken control of your space station. And it's sort of roguelike-ish or roguelite-ish in the sense that you have a character, you have a choice between some randomly generated characters who come with different equipment, and then you go on missions that are okay, get onto this starship or get onto this spaceship, and then extract this item without getting caught, or kill everyone on it so you can just steal the spaceship, or find this person and rescue them off of the ship or something. And then you eventually unlock stuff oh, do this without killing anybody, do this only killing people. That sort of thing.
Now, is this you running through again, or is this just as the game progresses, there's more things?
That is
more requirements.
As the game progresses, you just get their options basically. It'll be stuff oh, if you can do this without killing anybody, we'll give you $100 more. Otherwise, it's $5 or something.
Just bonus objectives, basically.
Right, and I'm still super
Okay.
early in it. I've only played it for probably an hour or so. But it's interesting. It's top down. It's sort of like Gunpoint. There's a lot of pausing and looking at the map and saying like, okay, I can teleport into this room and stab this guy, which will turn off the countdown timer. And then the way my teleporter works is it sucks me back to where I was a second and a half after I used it. So after I stabbed this guy, the guard will notice me and get ready to shoot, but then I will teleport back before he can fire, and I can run into the room before he realizes what's happened and stab him in the back, and then break that window into space, sucking those guys out, and it kind of goes from there. There's a lot of like complex interactions and stuff. I've already seen stuff like, this guard has a shield on, where if he knows that you're there, any attack is reflected, so you have to stealth kill him and stuff like that. It's cool. That seems like the kind of game I'll probably sit down and play a lot of on a weekend and be like, okay, yeah, I've played 4 hours of this game. I'm way in. Let's see the ending, or I've gotten what I wanted out of it. It was only
just move on.
$20. I can move on. But no, I think the game that you least want to hear about, that I've played the most of.
Yeah, I knew this was coming.
Which I'm not going to say much on because I don't want to torture you too much. Is I did play Destiny 2.
I mean, I already hear about this plenty in every other podcast I listen to.
Yes.
So,
after ending last episode telling you not to buy Destiny 2, I proceeded to not buy Destiny 2 and instead get a free trial to GameFly, where they decided to be like, okay, you just signed up for our service. Here's our brand new video game for free. And so I've played through the story of Destiny 2, and I have gotten to the part where you do the gear treadmill, and I stopped because I did not want to burn out before the real release in October.
Yeah. I mean that was the whole thing with me. Like if I got it, I wouldn't be able to stop. That's the only thing holding me back from actually doing what you did. If I got it and started playing it, I would not stop. And then we would get to the PC release when we're all going to play it together, and I'd be like, I don't want to do it again.
And that would be real bad for you, because this game, the first game encouraged, maybe not encouraged, but the first game you were rewarded for making multiple characters. This game, I don't want to say encourage again, because they don't ever actively come out and say, yeah, you should make 3 characters. But yeah, you should make 3 characters.
Okay.
Especially with
that, I'm guessing it's because of doing things more than once.
It's doing things more than once. They just announced this faction rally event where the factions from the first game, Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, and New Monarchy have come back. And the way it works is a character pledges themselves to a faction, and for the weekend, everyone goes and collects rep for that faction. Every faction gives you faction rewards, like in the previous game. When you level them up, you might get a gun or a shader or an emblem or some armor or whatever.
Or a shader pack of 3, you might say.
Right, yeah, a shader pack of 3. But they all have one unique gun that they will offer at the end of the event. And what happens is, whichever faction gets the most rep from all the Guardians on that platform, or I think maybe all the Guardians, wins the rally, and they sell their gun for 1,000 glimmer if you were pledged to them. And if you weren't pledged to them, they sell that gun for 50,000 glimmer.
And if you have a character,
and so if you have a character on
each of the factions,
each faction, hey, I win every time. So it's stuff like that. But
could you see them potentially making certain weapons bound to a character to discourage that?
I could see them doing it. I don't think they would, but I could see them I could see that being something they would try.
I mean, that goes against like the spirit of the game. I think I would hope
a little bit, yeah. Although like Glimmer is kind of like, this is the first thing I've seen that has had like a major Glimmer cap on it, or not cap,
yeah.
Because like the Glimmer, I want to say
major
caps
cost.
Yeah, cost is the word I was looking for. Thank you. Because Glimmer, I want to say caps like 100,000 now instead of 25K.
Oh wow. Okay.
And like you spend Glimmer,
wasn't it 75 in Destiny 1?
It might have been 30, but it was definitely way lower than this.
Okay.
I remember because I'd hit Glimmer cap often and then spend it all on ammo and then not be able to get Glimmer back up because I was bad at Destiny 1.
It was 25,000.
But
I remember, yeah, because that you talking about the ammo. Yep. Yeah.
But in Destiny 2, there is no ammo sense, or at least I haven't seen any. So you can't spend Glimmer on that.
It's not surprising they got rid of that.
The only things I've seen that you spend Glimmer on are vendor gear, which loot drops enough that you don't need, unless you're like farming for gunsmith parts or something.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you apply a shader to your armor or to a ship or a weapon, you spend some Glimmer. Which, by the way, you will be doing often because of the changes to the shader system. Instead of it being one item that covers everything, it's now consumable on each piece.
Yeah. Really, really bad change.
It's like it's the worst change.
That everybody is unanimously saying.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's defending that change at all.
It is the worst change with Destiny 2. Even though in the grand scheme of things, it's like not the biggest deal. People were terrified that they were only going to sell you those from the Eververse store, the paid money currency stuff.
Yeah.
But you can get plenty of them. Like you can go out and get plenty of shaders. It's just if you want to get specific shaders, you're going to be doing a lot of
I
particular farming.
I do have a question that I don't know if you know the answer to.
Okay.
They made the comment in this regard that one reason they did this is they wanted to encourage even more for you to do, say, the raid more than once.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does this mean that doing the raid additional times during the week gives you some kind of reward in the sense that you might get shaders every time you do it?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I haven't done the raid myself, and I haven't looked into this, but I still believe you're on a weekly loot lockout per character, but you are now encouraged to do the raid after you get all the guns out of it and all the armor out of it, because the raid shaders are also consumable.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are like, oh, I really like this shader, and hey, I finally got a cool new exotic, I want to color it. Oh, I'm out of the raid shader. Let's go do the raid real quick.
Well, I mean, they kind of encouraged that in Destiny 1 a little bit with the later raids, because you'd have a chance at getting the emblems, and there were shaders you could only get by getting complete armor sets, and you had 3 chances every week to finish up that armor set with that character and get that shader. Like in the last one, I really wanted that really cool shader that made you glow like a Siva cluster red or whatever. But you had to have a full set of the hard raid armor to get it.
Ooh.
And I did the raid, fuck me, so many times with all 3 characters, and I never got my fucking helmet. Like,
rough.
So by the time I was done, it was like, well, I didn't even get it. Who cares?
Oh well.
But I mean, while I was playing, that was my goal.
Yeah,
like
totally.
I wanted that shader. But it seems like they've done a step more in this regard.
Right. It is possible. You might still get shaders. I don't think you do, but like I said, I haven't actually looked into it, so I couldn't say with any authority. I will say though,
that's really shitty, man.
Yeah, the shader changes, it's rough. But I mean, it's just led to me not dying any of my gear. Which, I mean,
that's the thing. Like, yeah, it encourages you not to do it.
Right. The only stuff that I've ever used a shader on in Destiny 2, which admittedly it might just be the fact that, like, oh, I know I'm only power level 200. I'm going to replace all this anyways. There's no reason to use it. But it's like, oh, I'm probably not going to get a new Sparrow, so I'll color you pretty. Oh, I'm probably not going to get a new spaceship. I'll color you pretty. And then I got a new spaceship, and I had to go put the shader on that one too, which was
like, I don't see why they wouldn't just make, once you've gotten a shader, you have access to it in a store where you can recreate it. Make the glamour cost really high, like something.
Yeah.
Because like it's exactly what your problem is. It encourages you never to shade your armor because you feel it's like me playing an RPG and never use items.
Don't use the health item. You might need it on the boss.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
like,
don't use the shader. I might get a power.
These are super rare.
Thing. Yeah.
What if you get this really cool thing and you want it to look like this? Like, man, that's just.
I don't know. I could see them, like, by the time the Taken King equivalent comes out for this game, I could see them putting in like a
new system
for it. Yeah, totally. Because, like you said, this has basically been universally opposed by everyone in the community and all the reviewers.
I haven't seen a single person try to defend it.
No, except for people who work at Bungie.
Right, except for Luke Smith.
Luke Smith is the only person I've seen defend this system.
Yeah.
Um,
100%, but he's not a real person.
no, he's a community manager turned raid lead.
Right.
So,
Oh well.
but I will.
Anything else you want to say about the game? Or?
It's really good. Like there is so much to do in this game compared to the base Destiny 1. They said before this game came out that there would be so much story you'd be sick of it. Technically true, if only because near the beginning of the game there is a long walk slowly you are hurt section.
Oh no.
And so every character gets to do that. But I really liked it. Some of the set pieces are saying breathtaking or stunning or awe-inspiring or like whatever. It's a fucking video game.
Right.
But like there's some really cool fucking set pieces. And the way
I've heard the raid set piece is really impressive.
Yes, I have seen a little bit of what the raid looks like when you start it, and it is kind of crazy. I really like. There's a final boss that isn't a weird blob, and you understand his motivations and why he's doing what he's doing, which is like not at all Destiny 1. Like it's at most a little bit of Taken King. Like it feels like if you take Taken King and then had the Taken King team make a Destiny sequel, which is what they did, you'd have this game. And I am now more than ever looking forward to the end of October so that we can actually all sit down and for real start playing Destiny 2.
So you've come away from playing it on the PS4 as much as you did, like very much even more excited to play it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I've done the PlayStation exclusive Strike, but I haven't touched any of the other ones. I haven't touched the Nightfall, even though I know that they've made some changes to it. Like it's now timer based and stuff. I haven't touched the raid, obviously, but I am way like. So I read the strategy guide leaks when they came out first, and I was like, oh, this kind of bums me out. Some of the stuff in the strategy guide is talking. It's some of the story stuff is like that's kind of shitty. Why would they do that? I wish they had gone a different direction.
We talked about it. Was basically right after we recorded last month's podcast.
Yeah.
It was that night, I believe.
And I looked at that and I was like, well, that sucks. And playing through the game, it sucks less. I still wish they would have gone in a slightly different direction.
Okay, and is this story related?
This is story related, which is why I don't want to bring it up.
Okay.
Because it's basically it's almost the end game stuff. It's like what happens near the end of the game. I will say there's a post credits like stinger or teaser that has me super excited for when the Taken King equivalent comes out, because I doubt.
You think it's going to be that long, or it's not going to come with the two expansions?
If it comes with the two expansions, I am less excited for it because I don't think they have enough time to do it justice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no.
I mean, that's another question in itself. Like, what do we think these two already announced expansions going to be, like the Dark Below and the House of Wolves expansions for Destiny 1?
I mean, almost totally, right? They kind of have to be.
I mean, yeah.
Although if you
or do they plan just not having real Taken King expansions and just doing a shit ton of these?
The little ones? I don't know. I mean, if you trust the rumors, this first one is going to be a whole new planet. Which would be a first. The Dark Below and House of Wolves did not add a new zone short of the Prison of Elders and like the raid. But
I was about to say that we had the Prison of Elders with that one, but which was really cool.
Right, but we got that instead of a raid with that. So it was like it's like instead of like having.
Although considering how bad the Dark Below raid was, I think that's a better.
Would have rather had Prison of Elders than the Dark Below, the Dark Below's raid, but. I will say this:
it's a strike.
Right, it's just
I mean,
a strike.
you could solo if you're good enough. You could solo that raid.
Totally.
Like
that.
I soloed it up to the boss. There's a mechanic on the boss that I had a hard time doing by myself, but it only took me a couple hours to do it.
Totally. You could tell the team that worked on Vault of Glass went to go make Taken King.
Oh, and I should preface that was the first time I'd ever been in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had never done it before. I went into it just with looking stuff up as I went. And it only took me a couple hours to get to the end of that raid by myself.
Yeah.
It's a bad raid.
Crota's Bane is not a good raid, but No, I would not be surprised, honestly, if they. I could see them maybe making these expansions larger in scope just by having quests with cutscenes. Them not like that not being a thing that existed in The Dark Below and House of Wolves.
Well, this will be the first smaller expansion since the House of Wolves,
Right.
For the series in general.
But also, I could totally see them revisiting locations from Destiny 1 in an effort to like reduce. If we want to reduce the art asset generation time, you just start upscaling stuff from Destiny 1. Like, oh, let's go to part of
Totally.
Mars. Oh, let's go back to the moon for a little bit, and then we can put in more side stuff or more
Well,
quests.
I think it'd be really cool if eventually they get to the point where basically Destiny 2 is everywhere and from Destiny 1 and Destiny 2.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be really cool. All right.
But no, yeah, we'll have more to talk on Destiny 2 come November when everyone gets a chance to play it.
I think we may push back that podcast a little bit so that we can all play Destiny 2.
Okay.
Because that's been kind of a
Get it to make October.
It's been kind of a ongoing thing the past couple months.
A through line for the entire life of this podcast.
I think we'll push it back a little bit so we can all get a little bit of time with it.
But
maybe if by a week or so.
I have to ask before we get off the Destiny 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
How is the game coming? Like, say you had never played Destiny 1. Would you feel an emptiness there coming into Destiny 2?
I don't think so, which is hard. Okay, let me preface this by saying this is a difficult question for me to answer as someone who put a shit ton of time into Destiny 1.
Right.
But I think you can pick up Destiny 2 without too much confusion, because what they tend.
I mean, from what I've seen, there's
like,
not a
right.
Even the beta, it was like, well, even if you've never played Destiny, the only feeling I'm getting, if I look at it in terms of never playing Destiny before, it just feels like you're part of this thing where you are an incredibly powerful. Maybe you don't get the special sense that you got from Destiny 1, but you're just this incredibly powerful person, and your whole group of people get slaughtered, and here's the way back.
Right, because like what it does stuff that's sort of like out of place if you think about the fact that this game is your character from Destiny 1 doing stuff in Destiny 2. So you'll have like, oh, these are the Cabal. It's this enemy type. Here's what they are and what they're like. And it's like, yes, I understand, game. I fought them a lot before. You don't have to have my ghost tell me what they are. Or like, oh, here's this enemy type. And it's like, okay. In universe, it wouldn't make sense for the ghost to have to explain this to me. The ghost being your little like robot buddy that comes with you everywhere. But as a like, no, people who didn't play Destiny 1 need to know this stuff. It totally like puts you in there. I will admit.
Do you think it'd be more? It's more maybe like an Uncharted sequel in terms of what you need to know before.
Kind of. You
like
lose...
it's standalone, but yet you would lose stuff by not knowing what happened in the past.
There's references and stuff. They mention some characters by name who don't get touched upon very much in the story, but it'll be like throwaway lines like, "Oh, don't you still owe so and so a ship?" Or, "Oh, don't get lost down here like so."
Or
and
the
so.
robot, the sweeping robot.
Or yeah, like there's a sweeping robot early on that's sweeping. Like with no context, you're like, "Oh, that's funny. The robot's still cleaning up even though the city's under attack." But with context, you're like, oh shit, that's the robot that every time I ran around this corner was sweeping. He's still sweeping.
That's the sweeping robot, yeah. And there's a lot of things that happened.
There's a faction of enemy type,
but it also pays good homage to the people who did play.
Right. I mean, there's some stuff that's maybe not as explained very well. There's a faction of enemy type that just does not. It's like, oh shit, they're here too. Didn't we do something about them like years ago? Oh well, let's hope that nothing bad happens. And it's like, wait, what the fuck are these guys?
Okay,
but the minor spoilers here. I'll say what they are. So
can I guess what it is?
Take a guess.
And if it is, I'm gonna be kind of upset.
Take a guess.
Is it the Taken?
The Taken are back. And at one point, a character goes,
"What?"
Didn't we kill their king?" Which is something you do in Destiny 1. And then the other character goes, yeah, but enemies without a leader are just as threatening. We have to figure out what they want and get out of here. And then they never explain what they are as a concept or the fact that
shouldn't,
like all this other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
They shouldn't be there anymore.
They shouldn't be there anymore, but they're still there. and they're not super explained very well, and they only really show up in the story on like one planet.
Maybe that's in one of their new little expansions.
It might
hopefully.
be there.
Hopefully,
I could see it tying into the Osiris one, for sure.
I mean, you don't want to lose assets, I guess.
Right,
But
like-
hopefully it gets explained somehow, because they definitely should not be there based on what happened in Destiny 1.
They can explain it. It could.
I'm sure
definitely-
they can.
Well, because
but, I mean,
remember,
I'm just hoping they do.
right at some point that'd be nice, because they have no qualms being like, hey, this character from Destiny 1, like, you guys know who they are and you kind of like them, but like we never explained anything about them, so fuck it, they're just never going to show up again. Or, oh, hey, we said this is how this race worked before, we didn't know what that meant, we just said it, so fuck it, now they work this way because it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I mean, I guess they've already done stuff like that, right?
Oh,
Like,
totally. Like they have, according to Luke Smith and other Bungie employees, they never knew what the darkness and the light meant. They just knew that
Right.
the darkness opposed the light. And so now
Mhm.
they have changed it to, and this is super minor spoilers, but the Hive are now way more focused on the concept of them being like into magic. Like, there's a bigger deal about them like using rituals to summon wizards and ogres and shit, as opposed to like,
Well,
oh, they're just like the worm stuff.
In the Grimoire cards, it was like that.
Yeah, totally. But there was also some stuff that's like, oh, like these guys was this race with these worm stuff that was all from the Grimoire, and half that stuff's been like thrown out and changed. I should mention too, if you're familiar with Destiny 1, all the story, all the lore, all the world building came from the Grimoire cards, which were things you
Yeah.
collected in game and then read about on a website.
Yeah, you couldn't read them in the game. You had to go to a website, the Bungie website, which had a record of everything you've
Mhm.
done, and it would show which Grimoire cards you've gotten in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can proceed to read extra lore about the game
On the website.
on the website, not in the game.
And it turns out people love that so much that they got rid of literally all of the ones from Destiny 1. You have to go to a third-party site that archived them. And there is no Grimoire.
Oh wait, they took them off the site.
Yeah, they're gone.
I did not know that.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. They're all gone. You can't access the Grimoire anymore on Bungie.net. And there is no
There was-
equivalent in Destiny 2.
There was a YouTube channel I was listening to for a while. Basically, a group of people were voice acting
The Grimoire cards?
the Grimoire stuff,
That would be
and
cool.
it was really cool.
Because there was
they
there's some neat shit in there for sure.
Yeah, like they didn't. I think they stopped eventually. They didn't do everything, which I mean that would be
That's a
ridiculous
lot.
if they that would be ridiculous if they did. But they didn't do an incredible amount of them. I wish they had done more than they did, because
Mhm.
what I listened to was really cool. But like for example, they followed I forget his name. What's that really popular hand cannon that was around,
Thorn?
the silver one? Was it Thorn?
Well, Thorn was the one that did damage over time. Are you thinking Hawkmoon?
Yeah. Hawkmoon. There's a whole series of Grimoire cards around the origin of Hawkmoon and the original Guardian that had it. And they voice acted that whole series. And that was really cool. I don't remember the name of it wouldn't be hard to Google
To
it.
find it, yeah.
But I definitely recommend checking it out if you were into Destiny lore stuff, because they did a really good job with the voice acting, and they did some sound effect stuff, and it's not just people reading, a script. Like, they actually changed voices for things, and it was really well done.
I will say too, if you're the kind of person who's like, no, I have to play the first one before I play the second one so I don't miss any of the lore, there is an 1.5 hour long YouTube video that covers pretty much everything you need to know.
There's also Destiny's really cheap. Just go buy Destiny.
Yeah, well, or watch this video while you wait for Destiny 2 to download, because it's a better game.
Why not play both?
Don't burn yourself out on Destiny 1 is all I would say.
Maybe.
But no, it covers a lot of stuff. Like, it covers why there's one less city for humanity. It covers how the Guardians came to be, what the Golden Age was, what the Traveler is as far as we know. Like, how did the Guardians first come about? When people first gained the ability to cheat death, did they all become superheroes? Fuck no. A bunch of people started becoming.
Well, it's only the Guardians
warlords.
that do that.
No, so it was like the Guardians originally, like, when humanity fell and people were given the light by the Traveler, the very first thing people did is became basically like Mad Max style war bands traveling the world and enslaving people. And then the Iron Lords
Right.
rose to put that shit down and bring humanity into like a peaceful settlement. And then the Iron Lords fell because of some bullshit in Destiny 1. And then the
Mhm.
Guardians became like, oh no, if you're a Guardian, you are using the light for good and to protect people, so on and
It's because
so
there's
forth.
not very many of them left.
No, humanity's in rough shape,
Yeah.
and there's some interesting stuff there. There's also some interesting. Apparently, some stuff got out about like one of the original story drafts for the first game, which would have had the thing be the guard or the traveler shows up, makes everybody guardians. Aliens show up, so you start killing the aliens, and then you slowly uncover the fact that the guardian or the traveler has just been making like it finds the most aggressive race it can nearby and gives them a bunch of power so that they can go and fucking conquer for it, and then it leaves. That was apparently at one
Oh.
point like an original script idea for Destiny, where you would discover that the traveler was actually evil all along, and we've been like murdering civilizations
God,
just
I'd
because we've
hate
been
that.
told to.
That's so outdone. Like,
And so, well, don't worry.
that's so overdone.
As you've seen with Destiny 1, they threw away the entirety of the story and had some sci-fi
Right.
authors write grimoire cards for a year.
Right.
But no, Destiny 2 is better than Destiny 1 basically every way except for the stuff with the shaders.
Shader stuff.
And if you like first-person shooters, if you liked Halo, if you liked loot shooters like Borderlands, even though there's a lot less loot in terms of just the number of guns you can get, you should definitely.
I mean, it's
check it
Halo
out.
Lands.
Yeah, it's Halo
I
Lands.
mean, that's
If Borderlands 3 comes out and isn't just Destiny 2 but with more gun types, I would be surprised.
Same. Yeah. I have a feeling that they started Borderlands 3
Mm-hmm.
and saw all of this over the past couple years, and maybe
Have been doing some like reboots on that project.
have been maybe changing some things.
Yeah.
And that's why we kind of stopped hearing that they were working on Borderlands 3.
Well,
When
also
in the
they had
past,
to
when in the
get
past they
it-
mentioned that, yeah, that's what we're doing next.
Well, they had to get into that
Um,
hot MOBA market
Right.
with Battleborn, baby.
Yeah, that's done.
Speaking of series that are done, I heard you
Yes.
finished Mass Effect Andromeda.
I did. I went back and finished Mass Effect Andromeda. That game is really long.
Is it really
'Cause at
long,
the
or
point-
are you just a completionist who does everything?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
Because that game is kind of built in a way that it very much encourages you to at least do a lot. Maybe not everything.
Okay.
Because like that game is built around you going to each of these planets and making them livable. It's not as much the old Mass Effect where the center of the story is around the villain.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of I don't know. It's kind of to the side. Like, yeah, it is the end goal
Yeah.
for this game, not as a series as that was set up. That won't happen now. I mean, for the end goal of this game, it was to kind of secure it in the sense of taking out that main bad guy, but he was not the focus. The focus was very much making Andromeda livable for everyone coming from the Milky Way.
Yeah.
And I think in that regard, I think they did a good job. That part of the game felt very good, and it was fun kind of doing all that stuff on the planets because the actual gameplay in the game was fun. It kind of took Mass Effect 3 stuff in a direction that was a little more fun than the way it was in Mass Effect 3, I guess. Because Mass Effect 3, I don't know. It's been so long since I played Mass Effect 3. I just remember really hating a lot about it.
Yeah.
Because it was just, at that point, a shooter. And it was trying to hold on to some things from the previous games that maybe hurt it a little bit. And if they had gone all out in one way, maybe it would have been better. I still would have been salty, not gonna lie.
Always salty.
Because I loved Mass Effect 1 so much.
Good game.
Very good game. But this game, come on. It's surprising. You know what, Paul? It's so surprising that you don't like Mass Effect 1 as much because you love these tactics games like XCom and Mario Rabbids, and it's very much it very much puts that gameplay with a shooter in there. So I really don't understand why you hate on Mass Effect 1 so much.
I don't like Omnigel.
What do you have against Omnigel?
Oh my god.
It's a good reason.
No, I don't want to ramble about Andromeda so much because in past podcasts I have tried to defend it for a very long time. And I still stand by those comments. I liked the game quite a bit. But I can definitely see warrant in a lot of the complaints. It just didn't bother me as much as it did everyone else, apparently. I still think you should play it. It's been on sale everywhere for quite a bit now.
I'll play it.
It's not hard to find.
Sale.
It's not hard to find that game for $20.
Honestly, with this being EA, Origin gives away games sometimes, right? Like they give away Dragon Age Origins and stuff. They did.
I don't know did they?
Yeah, they did.
I feel like it's mostly that they just like they give you access to the vault.
Yeah.
Because they have that subscription service, and so they'll be like, "Oh, for this weekend, you can play this game from our vault."
Well, I know that they definitely gave away Dragon Age at one point because I just got it. Like I just downloaded it and it was mine. But no, they probably won't give this game away unless they're gonna, unless it's like 4 or 5 years from now and they're announcing the new Mass Effect game that they're like, we've only came back
That's the
to
only
it.
thing. That's the only thing I can think
Like,
of.
have this piece of garbage to remind you.
I think they don't want to talk about that game.
Yeah,
like,
they may not want to bring
so
it up
even
again.
like giving it away for free would require them talking about it. So I don't really see it happening. But it's just been getting cheaper and cheaper.
20 still seems a little high.
I will end the conversation about this game probably forever, saying, well, at least until the next Mass Effect comes out.
I wouldn't say forever.
That I think if you're worried about playing this game and wanting more in terms of sequels, don't worry about it too much. This game kind of wraps around itself while showing the possibilities of sequels in the games. But it's not a cliffhanger. You very much resolve what's happening here and now. It just gives you a lot of tease of what would come in sequels. And I think it would have been really cool to have, but we probably won't. 99% won't. But yeah, there is a definite ending to this game. So if you're worried about that, don't worry about it. It's fine. The ending was cool, I guess. It's not why you're there, like I've mentioned before.
It's the journey, not the destination.
In this game, very much so, and I'm usually not in that crowd.
Would you say it's worth it for the multiplayer?
Whatever.
What?
Can you even answer that question?
I played a few rounds.
Did you?
Was it as good as 3's multiplayer?
I didn't really.
He's like, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Wait, can you even answer that question? Did you play 3's multiplayer?
I played 3's multiplayer, but I played 3's multiplayer to get Galactic Readiness, and that was it.
You weren't about that N7 life?
I don't fucking like the multiplayer.
The multiplayer in 3 was so good, I bought Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh my god.
And then the multiplayer in that was so bad, I'm going to buy an EA game again.
Oh, well. I liked that game a lot, and I'm probably one of the only people to say that. It's fine.
I don't think you're one of the only people. Find the team at BioWare Montreal.
Who knows if they liked it?
Actually, that's fair. You probably get some of the at least one person on that team will probably be like, I like this game until it ruined my career.
Are you right? Oh,
now that I'm homeless, I hate it.
I went back and finished another game I had started in the past as well. While I was living in Korea, I started the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot.
Oh, Tomb Raider time.
And I hadn't really played it since I got back from Korea.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally went back and finished it. I'd been meaning to for a long time. Good game. I think I know Paul and Mike, you've played it.
Yeah, played through it.
Not since launch.
John, Seth, have you guys played it?
No, I've never been much of a Tomb Raider fan.
No, it's not really.
Well, what do you mean by that? That's
I've only played one or two of them for 15, 20 minutes at a time.
Are we talking the old Tomb Raider games?
No,
How do you
I
feel about
haven't played the
Uncharted?
Okay,
recent
you
one.
should play this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how do you feel about
These are-
Uncharted? Because it's that.
I was gonna say, yeah. Have you played Uncharted?
No.
Oh.
You should play that too.
But stop,
there's a-
stop
there's
before
a-
the last chapter in all of them.
What?
Man, fuck the blue guys.
Oh, come on.
I'm kidding. I'm
It's
kidding.
fine. There's a pack you can get for PS4 with the first 3 games. It's like $10-15.
Yeah,
You should get
the
that.
Uncharted collection.
Those are very good games.
Okay.
And then Uncharted 4 is the best of them. In my opinion, they each got better every time. But definitely, they're all worth playing. And that's a lot of, man. I'd be excited for someone that could just go play all 4 of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed those games a lot. But anyway, yeah, it is very much an Uncharted-like game. It was, I think I liked Uncharted better.
So then
Probably.
just play
Look-
Uncharted.
Looking back on even my experience, even if you went up to like Uncharted 3,
Mhm.
which I'd say is roughly closer to that game, I still think Uncharted is a better series. But I haven't played the second one yet. We'll see. I own it now. Got it really cheap.
Yes.
I think that'll probably be a better tell on which series is better, because I've heard that game is fantastic. But I don't know. Paul, you haven't played the second one yet, right?
No, I bought it. I got it at a really good deal of full price at launch, but I have not gotten around to it yet.
I see. Oh my god! But if you like Uncharted, like action adventure, 3D action adventure games, definitely check it out if you haven't played it.
Yeah, I really
It's really-
I liked the remake,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna play the sequel.
It's good. If you like murder porn, it's a really good game too. Because they spend a lot of time on those death animations. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's true.
You should check out the Poorly Played with Conan O'Brien in that game.
Probably the best one
That-
of those.
That is a very good video.
Yes.
Most of those, all of them are pretty funny.
Right.
I think.
I think that one's probably
But
the
that
best.
is the best one. That is the best one. The Final Fantasy 15 one is really good too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that one, but yeah,
Yeah.
you should check it out. I started playing Shadow of Mordor.
Speaking of other games from 2013,
Right? Yeah, this is the old game train. Yeah, I started playing Shadow of Mordor the other night. It's fun. I'm not very far. I'm only a few hours in.
have you tortured your first orc yet?
What do you mean by that?
I don't.
You mean like gotten information from them?
No, like enslave them or whatever.
Enslave them?
Enthrall
I have not enslaved them yet. No, I'm not to that point.
soon.
I haven't streamlined the story like Paul suggested I do,
Mm,
just because that's just not how I play games.
no.
But John, you've played that, right? Are you back?
Oh yeah. I played it back when it came out. And beat-
Back when it came out, did you play it on Xbox, PC?
I played it on
What did you
PC.
play?
Yeah,
You
I
had PC?
console gamed it all.
Did it release on PC with the
Yeah.
same day and date?
I think so.
Mhm.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
I mean, I paid like
Hmm.
full price. I mean, it was pretty close right after.
Oh, right.
release.
I was just curious if it came out the
Yeah.
same day as the console versions.
I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing it was pretty close.
What'd you think?
I liked it. I thought it was a good. I mean, I haven't gone back and replayed it. Like, I don't see a lot of replay value in it, but it was a good game just to play through. I mean, it was open and flexible enough that you could pick your play style. Hack and slash
Mhm.
versus, more stealthy approach.
I've noticed that a little bit. Yeah, I've been very sneaky.
Yeah, I mean,
I usually am. Did you? So I've heard the complaint about the game in the past that the game mainly the biggest problem with the game is that it's a Lord of the Rings game. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I was indifferent to that. I mean,
Okay.
I felt that I got more enjoyment out of the gameplay itself and the style of the game as opposed to the fact that it was a Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I played a few of the Lord of the Rings games like way back in the day, like on console and stuff, that had like the similar, you know, game style, like as far as like fighting and things. But
Well, I shouldn't say I meant weakest. Like that was the weakest part of the game.
Oh.
Sorry. That was,
I could
that
I
was
could
poorly worded
see
on my
that.
part.
Yeah, I could see that someone going into it who was looking for a good Lord of the Rings game may have been, you know, their expectations may have not quite been met, I guess, depending upon what you were looking to get out of it. But I thought it's just a good general game. I mean, you know, I played it, I sunk, you know, like, I don't know, 25, 30 hours into it to get through it and had a good time playing it. So I liked it.
Paul, what did you think? Would you agree with that or?
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was I don't know much about the source material, so it's hard for me to get hung up on that. Like I watched the movies.
What is your extent of knowledge on Lord of the Rings?
I've seen all the movies, and I've fallen into the wiki hole a few times.
I thought you listened to the books.
I did, but I listened to them while doing other things.
So is
So,
Tom Bombadil.
Oh yeah, you very much have to.
he
You
sings
very much
a lot.
have to pay attention.
Old Tom Bombadil,
Who is
something like
bronze is the brown?
that. I don't stop it. I don't know. There's some wizard that, yeah, whatever.
Who's Sandra
That's the guy in
Cobain?
Fellowship, right?
Yeah, I think he's also
Is
in the. At the very least, he's in the Hobbit movie, which
Yeah.
Oh.
Is
If
he
I-
the forest guy?
he's got like elves in his or.
Oh,
rabbits in
that's
his
right.
hat.
I was thinking of somebody else.
There's two blue
He's
wizards or something.
He's the
I
brown,
fucking
right?
know.
That's
Yeah.
the.
You guys.
he's the
You guys
brown,
have both
yeah.
like read the books or like watched the movies at least, right?
I read the books a long time ago.
How would you feel about
Uh.
me if I told you the only Lord of the Rings content I've ever experienced are the occasional video game
Uh-huh.
and the Hobbit trilogy?
Oh,
But you've never seen the Lord of the Rings movies?
No.
you should watch them.
Why
They're
not?
so good.
Because
Yeah,
when they
they're
came out, I remember I was in middle school and I went, "Who's making a movie about jewelry? That's stupid."
John, were you with me seeing Return of the King?
Midnight Showing.
Yes.
And then
Where the film burned up?
The film started melting. About
Right
10
at the
minutes
ending
from the end of
the ending
movie.
scene.
Yeah, like
When
when
The-
they're
the
getting,
ending
they're getting on the
scene.
boat.
Ending.
The boat when
When they're
the
getting
boat.
on the
I don't,
boat.
Yes.
Not the first 20 endings.
No, it's the ending where they're all getting on the boat. And then the film burned up. And everyone got a free ticket to come see it again later.
But we stood around for
Yay.
about 30 minutes for them to put a
Yep.
new reel on, just so we could see that last like 8.5 minutes. You know, the
Right.
last like 2 or 3 endings.
And they didn't do it.
Well, they
Did
did.
they?
No, they did. Yeah, we waited.
Did they
We
do
saw. I mean, we were committed. I mean, hell. You know, it was
Okay,
like 3:30 in
was-
the morning. So yeah, at that point.
I was remembering. For some reason I was remembering that they actually couldn't do it. Okay, that's been so long ago.
You're thinking of Star Trek.
Oh man, I wish. Love Star Trek.
How do you feel about Star Wars?
Good, but not as good as Star Trek.
How do you feel about mountain treks?
Mountain treks.
Yeah, like hiking up mountains.
Okay, I guess.
And then how do you feel about guerrilla warfare?
Well, that depends. Are we talking about guerrilla warfare where small amounts of people make ambushed attacks? Or are we talking about guerrilla warfare where two gorillas or a group of gorillas make war against each other?
That's what I'm talking about.
Can't it be both?
I mean, I guess it could, right?
Wait,
I mean, yeah.
is 6 people
Isn't that Planet of the Apes?
is 6 people enough to count as a small fighting force? Because if so, does that mean that 2 Overwatch matches with a Winston on both sides is double guerrilla warfare?
Oh no. Uh-oh. Hey there.
Triggered.
Peanut butter. I have glasses.
But I'll probably have more to say about Mordor next month. I'm sure I'll have it beat by then. But the other game I've been playing
You've been playing
is a
another
game that I've been playing a game with 3 of my other boys.
Mm-hmm.
Without
And
you've
that
been playing a game without me?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, I know what game you're talking about.
I've been playing a little game called Divinity 2 Original Sin.
Sorry, could you take that one more time?
What happened?
Could you take that line read one more time?
Oh, check. Okay, checking the mic.
Mhm.
1 2 1 2.
Yeah, we got you loud and clear back here. Just need you to read that one more time.
Dravangus 2 Original Sangus.
Could we get that without the pause?
Dravangus 2 Original Sangus.
Okay, there you go. Thank you so much. That's why you're a master of the craft.
Divinity 2 Original Sin is the game we've been playing with Dr. Dan Dangus and Vino.
Hundreds of butt bones.
Mike, Paul, Seth, and I have been playing Divinity 2 Original Sin, game just released. Just fully released.
Right, finally officially released.
Yes. This was a
finished
Kickstarter game?
Not finished. We started playing it once it was finished.
Oh my gosh.
Just want to point
The
that out.
PUBG butthurt won't end.
God, it's fucking terrible.
This was a Kickstarter game, correct? Or at least the first one was?
They
Or were
they both were because they're fucking greedy.
They both were? Okay.
And then this game
come
spent
on.
a year in early access, I think.
As a full year?
I think it was a
It
full
was
year.
about a full year, yeah. I think it was actually
Okay.
exactly a full year.
Okay.
But
This is a game very much like the old BioWare RPGs. It's like an evolution of that game, I would say. Like the Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale games. The only other studio that's kind of done a game like that in the past 10-15 years is the Obsidian game. I forget what it's called. Is it Pillars of Eternity?
Yes.
Okay.
I always have trouble trying to remember which one of those is the Diablo clone and which one is the Baldur's Gate clone.
Yeah.
Although I guess
they're the only
Torment Tides of Numenera came out kind of recently.
Oh right, I forgot about that game.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, there hasn't been many.
No.
Like there was a whole era of those games being like the king of the PC games.
Yeah, it was. If you were playing RPGs in the '90s on PC, you were playing these kinds of games.
It was the BioWare games, and this is kind of a modern take on that. I would say it's not as in depth. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. As someone who only has the briefest of experience with those older games, because I fucking touched them and went no, and bounced.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Because of that. Because my history with RPGs is JRPGs on consoles, and then Western style RPGs on consoles, which I feel like I don't want to say dumbed down because that's like got a negative connotation. But
you play pen and paper games.
Yeah, totally. But then it becomes
and those games are based on D&D 2, I believe.
Right, and then it becomes an issue of, oh, I'm really familiar with D&D 3.5, and this is using 2, and those rules are different, and now I'm getting confused because of shit in my own head.
They're not that different.
No, but there's enough small stuff that you go, oh, this should work. Oh, it didn't work.
I guess. I mean, those games were my basis for getting into pen and paper.
Yeah.
Because I grew up playing those games with my dad, and then when I finally played a pen and paper game, I played my first one, and it was kind of funny. I played my first one. It was with our friend Dustin and some of his friends.
Hopefully, have him
and
on the
they knew it was the first one I'd played, pen and paper game.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing a 3.5 game, and they were like, "You're getting this incredibly fast." Because I was playing a rogue, and I know how to play a rogue in those games. Constantly checking for traps and like that kind of stuff. Like you've picked on this really fast. I'm like, BioWare games.
So yeah, this is just Baldur's Gate, but with a bigger gate.
This is just me not using a top-down image of my character and just imagining it. Like, no, and I think if you're looking to get into those games, I was talking to Seth because he's expressed interest in. Maybe getting a group together to do that.
Right.
I mentioned to him to try out those Baldur's Gate games to get a feel of whether he would like that or not. Because I very much, I don't know. I prefer that just because I like video games better.
I mean, can I tell you a secret? Actually, can I
What?
tell you 2 secrets? One's really embarrassing.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Secret number 1, I would not have bought Divinity Divinity Original Sin 2 if we weren't playing it co-op, because I would have just immediately assumed that I was going to bounce off the game like I did with the Baldur's Gate series and the Neverwinter Nights series.
Okay.
It was you guys being like, "No, it's co-op. We can all play together."
Neverwinter Nights. I forgot about that.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. Then I can lean on Paul or somebody to like carry us through most of the stuff, and then just kind of chip in when I don't want to." And then it turns out this game's fucking amazing, and it's like consuming all my thoughts right now. But the embarrassing thing, when I was in high school,
okay, go ahead.
when I was in high school, I got into Dungeons and Dragons not because I wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons. There was a little part of me that wanted to. But because I wanted to walk around high school carrying D&D books in the hope that someone would accuse me of worshiping Satan with my magic spells.
Okay.
Because I had been
Of
reading a
course.
lot about the Satanic Panic in the 80s with D&D and stuff.
Right, it was really bad.
And with the kind of town we live in or lived in, as the case may be for some of us, I definitely was like, if I carry these books around, someone is going to call me a Satanist. And then me being a fucking like 15-year-old piece of shit was like, and then I'll be able to prove them wrong with logic and reasoning.
Being where we were going to school at, I'm assuming it happened, right?
No, that's the thing. It never happened. Instead, I just learned how to play.
Really?
Yeah, it never happened. I just learned how to play D&D instead, and then had a lot of fun with it.
What an unfortunate
Okay.
way to end that. That story sucked.
Right? Right? I totally would have thought it would happen.
Totally. I was waiting. I carried those books. I literally carried all 3 of those of the 3.5 books with me to and from school. Anytime I was out of the park.
3? What 3?
The Dungeon Master's Guide, the player book, and the Monster Manual.
Okay, DM guide. Okay, I was like, what 3 would you need?
But yeah, it was literally I
DM
just
guide,
carried all those books with me wherever I went for about a year, and no one said anything, and I just spent time reading them and learned how to play.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that works. Well, I'm in your boat too. I would not have bought this game if we weren't all playing together. Like, I have no aspirations to play by myself, honestly.
And that's where I'm at as well. That's why the aspect of going to play even the older games by myself, the part of this game that I enjoy is not so much the game itself as the doing it with my friends and that playing it with
Phrasing?
because Paul is a dirty man.
I feel responsible for this.
Yeah,
Because I think I'm
You
the only person
are.
here that actually wanted to play this game from the outset.
Right.
You asked me, you said, have you ever played the original Divinity? And I said, yeah, it sucked because I misremembered what game you were talking about.
Duh.
And then I looked it up and it was like, oh, the sequel's coming out and it's 4-player co-op. Actually, Paul, that first game was pretty fun. I remember it correctly now. And then that turned into you saying, I was like,
fucking buy it, I'll buy it.
I was like, I'll buy it. And you're like, no, you won't. And I said, all right, fuck you. And I went and I spent my PUBG crate money on it and got the game for $30. And then
And we all piggybacked on each other.
yeah, and
right?
then Paul bought it because I'd bought it. And then Seth
Right.
bought it because we'd bought it. And then Jimmy bought it because Seth had bought it. I want to say
Well,
it was the
at that
order.
point, it wasn't really because Seth bought it. It was because like, oh, everybody's gonna go play it.
Mhm.
I just
And
whatever.
it turned out to be the bestest idea.
I mean, it's been fun.
It's fun.
The thing I did,
We
the
get
part.
mad at each other a lot.
I got real salty
Yeah.
last night. I was going to apologize for that. There was definitely a point where I started snapping at people because I was getting frustrated.
Did you?
A little bit, yeah. It's a lot of because there's so much going on in that game. It's you looking at what's going on with your character and your.
Was it at me?
No. It was one of them was a little bit. It was like because there's so much going on, and you'll have cases where like Seth has found a treasure chest, and I can pick locks. Jimmy has found something else, like a door that's locked. It's like, hey, and both of you at the same time will be like, can you come here and unlock this? Or like, and then at that point, Paul will be like, how do I teleport back to catch up with you? And I explain the teleport mechanic, and then we walk to somewhere, and then I teleport back, and then whoever I went to will be like, oh, how do I get there quickly? And
I figured out when he was
re-explained
frustrated.
The teleport mechanic.
I figured it out.
And so it's stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, I just need to.
Is that what you got?
That was where I definitely noticed that I was like snapping at you guys and tried to calm down because I was like, look, this
All I'm saying is that what you were upset with me for? Like, I don't care what it is.
No,
You can tell me
that
what
was it. It was you being like, how do I teleport? After I'd explained it a couple times to Paul, I think.
Well, it's just man, there's so much going on in that game.
Totally.
It's hard to listen to everybody.
Absolutely.
And I have a problem with that anyway.
Like I understand completely where people, because like I said, there's so I do it all the time. It'll be like you had told me the other day that you had cast one of your healing spells on me, and I didn't realize that you could until I told you about it for my single player game. And you were like, yeah, no, I cast it on you a couple times last time we played. And I was like, oh, I wasn't even paying attention.
I don't know anything about casting healing spells on your undead character.
No, you do know. Well, yeah, that's right.
God.
Oh boy.
Oh man,
that was too funny not to stop.
That is
though.
like one of the best things I've ever seen.
So I'm playing an undead character in this game. And,
I want to watch the VOD so I can see whether or not I scream no before or after he does it.
And in this game, if you're playing undead, you get hurt.
After.
You get hurt from heal spells, and you heal from poison. So I die. Seth revives me, and you come back with limited health. And he goes, "Okay, here, I'll take care of you." And he goes to cast a heal spell on me.
Well, the other thing is when you revive someone, you can put them anywhere.
Yes, and he
and we said that, and we're like, okay, and it's not really intuitive. Like it doesn't like Jimmy.
Well,
fucked
that
it up too.
That was on me. Like it was the resurrection was fucking up. So I was just trying to fucking click to make it work.
Right.
And like I didn't realize that when it was on that second part, I thought it was just fucking up again, and it didn't recognize my click.
Oh, but no.
And so I just clicked again.
Seth did the same thing the night before.
Put him right in the fire.
Right.
Put me right in the fire behind the guy, and he goes, "Oh, it's okay. I'll heal you." And I can see what type of heal he's casting, and I know it's gonna kill me, but I don't say anything because it's so funny. And then as Paul realizes what's going on, I just get healed for the entirety of my health, which since I'm an undead, takes away all my health, kills me again. And you just hear Paul scream, "No!"
Well, what's even funnier about that, I wasn't even thinking about that.
I feel like you were somewhere else entirely.
I just said, Seth, just do it.
You did.
And then that's what he did.
You did say, Seth, just do it. And then Seth was like, "Wait, what happened?"
And then immediately when he shot it out, I remembered. And I was thinking, oh no. And then
I thought for sure you were thinking, oh yes.
No, I didn't remember until like the minute he started casting, or like that moment, and I was like, oh fuck. And then there goes another one of our resurrect scrolls.
There goes one of our very limited res scrolls. It was super funny.
Oh my god.
And then last night when I crippled you trying to cripple the other guy.
Yeah.
Dead tired. I was like, yeah, Mike's
yeah, I mean,
now.
It's definitely been an enjoyable multiplayer experience. Like the whole cat thing, I think, has been super humorous. Like,
you've got a fucking cat problem.
Oh my gosh, I think about that like all the time now. I'm like, man, this whole fucking cat thing with me being a bitch about it is so funny to me. Like,
I saw a black cat at work the other day and thought about taking revenge on Skittles. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh my god, it's so great. Like every time we play it and I think about it, my favorite thing is me being like, okay, is the cat okay?
The cat okay?
Is like,
and not even really joking. Like, this is really your number one concern.
I'm so concerned about the cat, man. Because it's so fucking cool. I can summon it now.
I just love the fact that in my single player playthrough, I was just moving a crate absentmindedly, heard a "Mrrr!" and a squish, and there's just a puddle of blood on the floor, and my party is yelling at me for squishing this cat with a crate, and I'm just like, well, the last Odyssey was 15 minutes
You literally just picked up a crate and dropped it on the cat?
Yeah, without thinking. I was just moving it out of the way.
When the cat got shot coming out of the jail or whatever, I was so distraught. That was not fake.
Went silent.
Oh my god, I couldn't. I couldn't handle it.
I was waiting for the gunshot and the thud.
I've been so like.
Especially we spent all that work to get that cat to that gate.
That was the whole thing.
And the guard just shoots
We
it.
did all that work to get it through the dungeon to get it out, and then it just fucking gets shot leaving the door. Like, God. I did want to say though, back to earlier when Seth was talking about not wanting to play it single player.
Yeah.
I think I differ in that a little bit. in that it's not that I wouldn't enjoy it playing it by myself. I'm more in the camp of, I think if I'm going to play this kind of game by myself, I'd rather go play Baldur's Gate 2.
Is that just because
The
you're more
game-
familiar with Baldur's Gate 2, or because of the complexity from the older games?
I think it's.
I mean, what's the big?
I think there's a.
What's the
I think there's a
difference?
lot of reasons. That game is enormous.
Mhm.
It's a lot more in depth with how you can make the characters, because they're full on D&D classes. There's so much in that game that I didn't do maybe the first time around that I played that.
Does just a question about Baldur's Gate, because I
Yeah.
missed out on that, and honestly, with my my
I
RPG
think
fetish,
you should play it.
right? With my RPG fetish, I'd probably enjoy it. But
And there's an HD remake. It's right up your alley.
my oh, finally, it's good. No, my question would be like, does it have the same like? Is there anything in Divinity 2, since you've been playing it, that you
Mhm.
think it does better than the Baldur's Gate series? Like, does the Baldur's Gate series play with the different like the fire, the water, the poison, the blood, like being in different
Well, that's not the same.
the elements interacting with each other?
That's different. I would say that's the biggest difference.
Okay,
Maybe.
so like the elemental
Because
effects interacting with one another.
yeah, that's not a D&D thing.
Okay.
Like
It's just really cool to like have like you end up you use a spell to put a bunch of oil on the ground, and then you catch it on fire, and then you put the fire out, which forms a steam cloud, and then you poison the steam cloud, making poisonous gas. Like,
I mean, yeah, that stuff, yeah,
and you
that's
can
better.
plan that, or you can not plan it and fuck yourself over on accident. Like,
Okay, yeah, I would agree. Not agree, but you were asking if Divinity did something better. The environmental stuff that it can do was not in those games.
Okay.
They probably would have done something like that. I mean, that's very status effects in that regard, like involving areas, is definitely a thing in pen and paper if you want it to be.
mhm.
But in terms of like, okay, I've made this a fire arrow that involves with the whole elementals working with each other it's just different. But at the same time, like character creation and the abilities you can put on your character and what stats you have is so much more important. And I would say probably from what I've seen in the older games.
Okay.
So
this one
it's
this
more
feels
it's more in
limited to you?
depth. It very much feels like it's not fair to say this, but I do want to say it. Daddy's first BioWare RPG.
My God.
or baby's first.
I don't
first BioWare.
I don't think most people that play this game are going to think, oh, this game's really shallow and there's nothing to it.
No, and I don't think it is. That's why I'm saying I don't think it's fair, but I did want to say it because I think it's funny.
Comparatively, in your mind, it's
Comparatively, those games are a little more in depth, and you have a little more. There's a little more creativity, I think, in those games as well, because there's so many more abilities. Especially when you get involved with the spellcasters.
So in all fairness, though,
wow.
you are early still. Like
We're early, like,
you're in the level one.
I mentioned
spells.
that. I said that. Like, it's early, but it just from
You have,
what we've
you have
played.
your collar off, but you haven't been able to cast the source.
I understand that, but when you have a
No, I'm
let's
sure
put
you're right.
it this way: like a wizard has access to maybe a couple hundred spells.
Okay,
Like,
well, no, obviously,
yeah, like.
that's not the direction this
Right.
is going.
And not all of them are beneficial to what you're doing either. I mean, that's part of the point. Like, you building a character the way you want.
So this is a really stupid question. In
Uh,
Baldur's Gate, you literally have access to a couple hundred spells.
I think so.
How do you like?
I
what
mean,
does
it's
your
a D&D
HUD? What does your HUD
system.
look like? Like, how do you?
Well, you don't. Well, here's the thing. Like, you don't have access to them. You can learn them.
Okay.
Like, so the way here, I'll to put it this way. So in D&D, a wizard.
I'm real dumb. Sorry.
It's fine. No, it's fine. No, most people wouldn't know this. So different casters have different things in terms of how they learn spells, how they keep spells, how many times they can use a spell type deal. Wizards have to scribe a spell the day before, and then they use it, and they'd have to scribe it again. Now I think they handled it a little differently in the past,
So kind of
Maybe
like
in the-
almost like they're making single-use scrolls or something.
Kinda, yeah. Wizards would definitely be doing that more.
Hmm.
Whereas like a magician keeps a spell forever, but you still only have so many uses of it per day. Like you have to rest before you can use it again.
So like a mana cost almost. Because there's no concept of mana in this game.
Not a mana. It's not mana. No, it's just
fatigue.
you can use this. I can use this spell twice a day. I can use this spell only once a day.
Hmm.
And not really. You have to rest before you can use it again.
Right.
So there's a lot more tactics involved in that, because as you're going through a dungeon, how often are you going to get the rest?
Right. This game does it even have a day-night cycle? I literally haven't noticed.
I don't think so.
I
don't know.
That's weird.
I really do think you should check out Baldur's Gate 2. I wouldn't suggest the first one. Probably not. Unless you were really into it, play the first one and second one. And then Icewind Dale 1 and 2 are also really good. One of the strengths of those games is that it does take place in the Forgotten Realms world.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
What-
Are you familiar with any of the Forgotten Realms?
I don't think he is.
No,
'Cause that definitely helps. That would be the only thing that pulled me to try.
I mean, that was what reminded me about them for you personally. Remembering that it takes place in that world, a world you're very familiar with.
Right.
Because they talk about Baldur in the Drizzt series.
Right.
It gets brought up a couple times.
Man, I mean, the current Drizzt
They never
series
go there, I
takes
don't
you-
think. But
Oh, yeah.
Do they?
You've
Okay.
passed through. The current Drizzt series has covered so much ground in the realms ever since the Sundering that you've covered most of everything. I mean, you've covered a lot.
right. You're caught up, and I'm probably only halfway through that series. I haven't
You need to get on
read
it.
one in a while. Well, the problem is I like to listen to them, and the current trilogy I'm on has a different person narrating it,
Mhm.
and he's terrible.
That'll do
So
it.
I have to actually sit down and read those three.
What are you
and
on,
I
if
don't-
you don't mind me asking?
I don't remember. I'd have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
So I have to actually sit and read, and I just don't do that. Like, if I have free time, I'm usually playing a game or something.
Right.
Like I just don't sit down and read. It's whatever. Because I'll listen to books while I'm doing something. But yeah. But Divinity 2, really good.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I feel like it's coming from somebody who's never played this style game. I feel like it is a great game for somebody to step in and learn this type of system. They've got a lot of aspect that you don't see in other games, like he was talking about with the blood on the ground and an electric person, like you could run and stand in the blood and be like, all right, next turn I'm gonna suck this blood up to save my life, and then a friend do something stupid and electrify you through the blood on the ground.
Listen,
and,
that happened one time.
like, there's just so much more to think about than the boss you're fighting. It's a really neat
It's
concept that I've
Fun
never
playing through
experienced.
together too. Like I feel
Right.
like that's
It's
been more
definitely
fun than I
something that
expected.
you need to play
Well,
with
that
people
reminds
you
me.
don't mind getting frustrated with, but you'd never be mad at, with people that you can fuck around with. If you played this with people who were all really serious about what they were doing, I could see it being
Oh, they'd be so
rough.
mad. They'd be so
Yeah.
mad all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends. If they were all like that and they were all working together really well,
And you were the one fuck up.
I don't know. I don't know. But you talking about the pausing and stuff does remind me of one difference between the older BioWare games and this. The BioWare games are real time,
Yeah.
and you can pause it.
I personally like
Uh,
turn-based better. Like you know how I feel about Civ and
I
Final
know.
Fantasy and all that stuff.
I know, but you basically make it semi-turn based because you're pausing and sending things in motion a lot. Like, you're basically stop and starting
Yeah.
a lot.
Dragon Age Inquisition was like that, and I had a hard time with it because I've never played a game.
Well,
It was like that. You didn't even play it.
no, but I watched you play it enough to know that it's probably not fair to compare.
I didn't play Inquisition. I played Origins. I figured they played similar. They don't.
Inquisition's like an MMO
Really?
style combat.
didn't-
Isn't it?
No, not really.
You kept telling me the combat was like an MMO fighter.
It was like an MMO in the sense that you have cooldowns and
Right.
you have
That's what I was
like,
talking
and
about.
you have like your basic attack that kind of goes on constantly. But
You played wait. Seth, you played Origins?
I did. It and the expansion.
That's what those games are like.
I mean, exactly.
Kinda the top down. I mean, it's not quite the same, but that's the closest. It's much closer to that than this, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, Origins was very much like that, except I don't remember. I didn't get incredibly far in Origins.
I loved Origins. I played through it with almost every race and every story you could possibly do.
Wow.
did not know that.
You should play Baldur's Gate. The second one. You skip the first one, it's fine. There's not as many things to do in the first one.
Yeah.
And the mechanics are much better in the second one.
I love
See, I
the
just skipped-
aspect of
yeah.
each different race you chose was a completely different story. It was like I bought one game and got how many races? It was like 2 different types for each race. So you got like 8
Yeah, I think
different
so.
playthroughs.
Yeah, BioWare used to be really
That's
good at
nuts.
making games.
They did.
I enjoyed
Yep.
Miss the doctors. It was the start of the fall.
What was I gonna say? Oh, if you play Icewind Dale 2, Seth, Dritz is in it.
Oh, really?
He's an NPC. You can try to kill him,
I
but good
don't
luck.
suggest that.
No, he's super powerful in that game. You can kill him, but it's not easy. You force attack him just like you would force attack anyone in this Divinity game.
Mhm.
But he was just thrown in there. He's not like part of the game. It's
just
an
'cause
Easter
he's
egg.
such a big part.
It's
of
an Easter egg
Icewind
thing.
Dale
Yeah.
area, right.
And that game takes place during the time when he would be there.
Just to ask, since you are so inclined, you've read the books and you've played the Baldur. Have you ever looked into the Neverwinter MMO?
I know one person who played it and didn't really like it that much.
Really?
Neverwinter Nights 1 and 2, the game the MMO is based on,
Mm-hmm.
are very good games.
Oh, okay.
I didn't play a whole lot of 2, but I played quite a bit of the first one. Neverwinter Nights 1 and 2 are very good games as well.
Oh, okay.
Like, these are all games, man, I just never think about anymore.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I really thought about playing Neverwinter in the early
Mhm.
parts of it, but man, it was expensive.
It's multiplayer.
It is. It's something that I would probably go when we had nothing else. If I could convince everybody else to go play and just mess with, I would go.
I'd
play.
potentially play 2 again. Mike might. I know he's AFK getting food right now, but
yeah, the MMO they came out with they had a lot of microtransactions that weren't small. It wasn't like a $9.99 microtransaction, like a
well, it was a
$59.99.
It was a completely free to play game.
Yeah,
So
they had.
yeah,
to make
I didn't hear too many good things about it. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're Neverwinter Nights 1 and 2, good games. My uncle, my dad, and I played the first one, and I think I played the second one briefly with my father. But yeah, maybe eventually we can go back, give that a shot. Anything else you wanted to bring up before we take a quick break here?
Not that I can think of offhand.
No,
Shrimp
John
Gumbo
Bauman?
was really good.
John Bauman, is he still here?
Yeah. Sorry. Distracted.
Oh well. Let's take a quick break and we'll get into some news and we'll wrap it up. We'll be back. Bye. No, not bye. We're not leaving yet. Nope, still here. All right. Well, we're back. Seth wasn't here when John introduced himself earlier, but he mentioned that his favorite game was Final Fantasy XI. Seth played more of that game than me and John combined.
Well, since I knew this was about to be a conversation, I went and looked to see what my time played on my character was.
Oh, okay.
Can I guess?
682 days.
682 days?
I would not have guessed that.
Played.
Holy shit.
So, John, let's talk
Whoa.
about Final Fantasy 11.
Holy shit.
That's like almost 2 years.
Right.
Oh.
You were logged into that game for almost 2 years of your life.
Holy
Yeah.
moly.
Wow.
Let's just say when I get dedicated, I get dedicated.
God. Fuck me.
That's quite a bit. I want to say, I don't remember exactly, but I want to say I think I was like around 200 days or something. I might have been close. I might have been 300. I might have been.
I think I was in like the. I last time I looked at it, I know I was at like maybe 100. I don't know.
I mean, that's still pretty impressive. My question is, are you a Jimmy player or did you get into the end game of?
I stopped. When did I stop playing?
I mean, we both did a little bit of Dynamis.
Yeah. I want to.
Did you do any of the world bosses?
I did some gods, like some of the.
Sky farming?
Yeah, I don't remember. Like in Sky, I did some of the Sky bosses.
Akko, Sirius,
yeah.
Genbu, and Suzaku.
But
did you do those with Rocco
last
and Gimpy?
expansion I think that I played it wasn't it was the one after Odd Urgen, whatever
Wings
that
of
was.
the Goddess.
Wings of the Goddess, yeah.
Yeah.
I played a little bit with that, and then that was pretty much when I quit playing. So I never got it. When they started making the game more soloable, and adding like the different elements to make it easier to level up is kind of when I was like, this game is too easy. I spent hundreds of hours. I can't. Now you're just gonna give experience away.
Oh, you should have seen what that game turned into. You could play that game by yourself with a full party of NPCs.
Abyssia killed that game for me for a while. It took me a long time to go back. It made it real easy. But the funny thing about Abyssia was you remember back in the day, everything was like you had to have enough skill to sleep mobs. You had to have enough accuracy to hit mobs. That was all a real big part of the game. Well, when Abyssia came out, all that got taken out of the game for a couple of years. And everybody forgot how to play. So when the most recent expansion came out, Audlin, they started releasing content that actually required accuracy and things. And people sucked so bad because they didn't remember. White mages didn't remember how to manage their MP anymore. The DPS didn't know accuracy was even a thing anymore. It was hilarious watching these people who didn't play the old 11 try to figure out the game again. It was funny.
Was there really that many people that came into the game during Abyssia?
You would be surprised how many people came into the game after Wings of the Goddess. It
really
threw me off. Man, I talked to one of the guys that ran that last Link Shell I was a part of. He had only been playing for like 2 years. Like, that's it. There was a lot of people like that. The game has. I was talking to a friend of mine runs, Loco runs a private server, and he said on his private server there are people that the very first time they played the game was on the private server because they were told not to go play the main game now because of how it is, to just play the 75 cap private servers.
Oh, they were playing basically like up to Odd Urgen or something?
It's a 75 cap game. Probably Odd Urgen, would be when it ended. And all the world bosses are on the same timers. But they've done some things like now you can warp, like you can click on a home point and teleport to any other home point that you've touched before. They put that in the game, in the 75 cap game, just because it's convenient. So they've mixed the old and the new type thing. And I don't know, I haven't played it, but I've thought about it seriously.
John, did you only play Black Mage? Did you play any other jobs?
I played Thief. I took Thief up to like
Thief,
70.
that's
I never got it
right.
to 75, but I got it to like 70. That was my 70.
I only got Dragoon to 75.
And then I got White Mage and Summoner up in the 60s, I want to say.
What server were you on?
We were on Ifrit.
Yeah.
I played on. I
You
started
guys were on Veilfor,
Odin,
right?
And then I was on Valfor.
Jimmy, you remember those long nights where we camped Volcrum Emperor to get the Emperor's hairpin or the Empress hairpin?
Oh man, yeah.
I had it down
and then
to
we
a
get and your moldy
science.
ring.
Yeah. Like I had researched that thing. I knew the timer.
Yeah.
I knew, I had Thief with Treasure Hunter 2 and Ranger with tracking. So I could just sit there and like the placeholder would come up, we'd go kill the placeholder. It'd come up, we go kill it, and we'd kill it.
That was a lot of fun. Like doing the stuff in that game is probably like my best memories. Is like camping the stuff.
That game was
I
one.
don't know.
Burn parties.
Leveling in Dunes was a lot of fun. Like how terrible it was. It was horrible, but I mean, it was a good time with people. Camping, Leaping Lizzie, the Emperor, getting the moldy ring. That stuff was all great.
I always
I don't know.
loved
I have a lot of good memories
in
but,
that game how big it felt. If you remember the very first time you're just now getting level 10 and they're like, okay, to go any further you're going to need to make your way to the Volcrum Dunes, and you're like, okay. And in any other game you're like, okay, 5-minute walk, I'll be there. No time at all. Well, you get in this, and 2 hours later of dodging mobs, you finally get to your destination of just traversing across the land. That this game, it felt so big back in the day.
It did.
Yeah, doing that, and then doing that first run to Juno.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was
right. Because
that's a moment.
You had to go through high level zones, and you would just hope that you could just make it through if you weren't lucky enough to have someone like escort you. But it was
John.
Right.
I had a link shell that we would do. They would do all kinds of stupid link shell events. We'd go do Garrison and all kinds of things. But one of the events was you would start in a hometown. Everybody would start in different hometowns and everything. It was a race on a level 1 character without prison pots or sneakles or anything, a race to Juno. And
nice.
Oh, it was hilarious. Just the people would get almost there and die and go back to their last home point they got to and have to keep running. Oh, it was such a funny thing to do. But there's things about that game that completely molded the gamer I am today. And there will never be a game to replace it. Not the funnest game I've ever played, not the best game I've ever played, but as far as the memories that I have there, I mean, they just stand out more than any other game ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Good
times. How many times did you run Bubbly Bernie, Jimmy?
I think we did the math one time, and I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I made like 300k gil doing Bubbly Bernie.
That's outrageous, considering that's
and you
get 500 gil per.
You get 500 gil. So let's see, the math would be
600 runs.
600 runs of Bubbly Bernie.
And it's like what you could do like 20 an hour, right? Or was it
I had it down 10. To a science. Like the minimizing the amount of running you did from every single place to place, and having yourself set up to teleport back in the right zone, right outside the right zone in the Mog House.
Mog House to move throughout the Stoke like quickly. Yeah.
Yep. You'd have your timing down on the Black Mage spell, killing him like getting the spawn attack just perfect. I spent weekends doing just that. It's so stupid because money was so hard to come by in that game.
So hard.
When during that time in the game, like it was incredibly hard to make any money, and we were low level, and I was just trying to get my stupid Black Mage spells. It wasn't even trying to get anything special. I'm just trying to get the stupid things that I need to use to play the game. Like, man, I don't know. That's one of those like things that I'll never do in any other game ever again.
But you don't regret doing it in that game. That's what's weird about
no,
that
no.
game.
It was fun. It was fun. It's a great story.
Right. Anybody who played 11 can go back to some point in their playtime of 11 of not just minutes or an hour wasted, of hours and days wasted in that game doing something.
Especially if you play Dragoon and you just left your stupid LFG flag up for. I think the longest. I did an experiment one weekend. I left the game running and I just started playing something else on Xbox or something, and I left my LFG flag up, and I think I left it up for 46 hours or something like that, and didn't get a single tell for a party.
Because LOL Dragoon.
Because it was between 50 and 60 Dragoon.
It's like, ooh,
when they were bad.
That's when you level White Mage sub and solo it.
Exactly. I think eventually I did talk some people into letting me into their party. But what was it? I think one of my favorite moments in that game, I think, is involving you, John.
Mm-hmm.
It was when you were logged in invisibly.
I remember that.
And I ran into you in Bastoke and started following you around. But you just wanted to play by yourself or whatever. I don't remember why, but you just wanted to play something. And I just started following you around, like, "Hey, what you doing? Why aren't you on? Why you on?" And then you cast invisible on yourself, but I still had you targeted, so I could still follow you around.
It's like, leave me alone.
And then you went into your Mog house, and I was like, "Well, that's it. That's the end of that."
Yeah, that was.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, it was funny. But let's move on to some news.
Paul and Micro.
We got
like, thank God.
What?
I said Paul and Micro.
Oh
like,
yeah.
You guys can spend another 368 days talking about Final Fantasy 11.
And still not be compared to my playtime.
It's all good.
Right. Yeah, we're still not. Yeah. Anyway. Let's look at some things that have happened in the past month or so. Let's see. In Fortnite, there was some accidental crossplay with PS4 and Xbox One.
That's right, baby. For about a day and a half, or maybe just half a day.
Was it really that long?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a few hours.
It was
okay.
It went for about a day and a half because people didn't realize what was happening. Once it got reported that it was happening, that's when they very quickly shut it down.
I know someone who wished it had just stayed on longer.
People from Microsoft were like, "Well, I wish you would have just stayed."
You could have just
Mr. Phil Spencer
just left it on, in my opinion.
Who is now the executive vice president of gaming.
Ooh, fancy title.
At Microsoft. He directs he reports directly to the CEO now.
Ooh.
I don't know why. I guess maybe it seems very much just okay. How can we pay Phil more money?
Like acknowledging that he's doing a good job, basically.
Yeah,
which he is.
Because
I mean,
yeah,
it's possible too. It's like it's a shift on the corporate level of like acknowledging the Xbox brand and the gaming division as a viable brand. Because there's always been rumors coming out of Microsoft that they always looked at the gaming stuff and the Xbox stuff as like, well, as long as you don't lose too much money, you guys can keep doing what you want.
Right.
And then the Xbox One happened, and then some shit got mixed up. So yeah, it definitely seems like they're just being like, "Hey, you pulled us out of that fire. We're going to pay more attention to you and your ideas, and you can help lead us." But
I don't know if he can even do it though. I mean, they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but to get, I don't know if they can ever get back to where they were.
Just wait for the Xbox 2X.
The Xbox 2X.
That's when they'll finally come back on their feet. No, fuck, I'm an idiot. They're just going to call it the Xbox 0X.
Oh, yeah, because they have to go back. No, it's the Xbox -1.
It'll be the Xbox minus world. And
nice.
you'll see every game you load is just Mario swimming backwards on the title screen.
No, they're going to start taking letters off instead of adding letters, and we're just going to get the bot.
No, the bow.
The bow.
The bow.
It's the XBX.
Oh my goodness. Ay, ay, ay. PUBG. Someone's rewritten my notes here.
Wait, how could they do that?
PUBG.
God, I wish you would have read it out.
I almost did.
Damn it!
You know, if you put anything on the prompter, he'll read it. PUBG set the record for the most concurrent number of players on Steam, overtaking Dota 2. They set the record with 1,322,507 players. The previous record was 1,291,328.
That's a lot of money Bluehole's made.
It's impressive.
They've sold over 10 million copies.
It's so impressive for a game that's not even technically out yet.
Yeah.
Right, like
When did that game come? When did that game come out in early access? Was it April?
March or April?
March or April? Fuck me, man.
Like the last time I can remember
10 million.
The last time I can remember something like this happening was Minecraft.
But it didn't happen this fast.
No way.
Like Minecraft took a while. And once it did take off, it was
right.
You know,
then it blew up or whatever. But
yeah, but man, this has been so impressive.
Yeah, it came out in March 2017 and sold 10 million
March,
copies
okay.
in the first 6 months.
I'm trying to think of other games that have sold 10 million copies in 6 months. No, they didn't have 10 million Wii's out in
not
6 months.
I didn't hear you say the 6 month part.
I can't think of one.
I
mean, it's hard to think of games period that have sold 10 million copies.
Solitaire.
I mean, there's a lot of them, but man, this fast.
Yeah, this fast for a $30 title.
That's not even out yet.
That's not out yet.
That's not even out.
It's getting patched every.
That wasn't
month.
supposed to be a compliment. Never.
It is though.
I know.
And the sad part is, this is game of the year, and if they don't get it out by the end of the year, nobody can give it to them.
Oh, that's not true.
Plenty of people will probably still do that.
Plenty of people will still give it to them. There's only certain places that have a rule.
Also, the first part of what you said was also not true.
What?
This is probably game of the year.
I mean,
it's got stiff competition with Divinity, but don't laugh.
PUBG
Divinity.
No, it does. Divinity's got a lot of really good ratings out there.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be getting game of the year from
somebody,
outlets.
Some idiot. Some outlet.
We'll see what happens when that time comes. I mean, they still plan on having it called full release this year. We'll see. In that same vein, there's a battle royale style game mode in Fortnite now. And they have cited as much as saying, this is our PUBG.
Yep.
Basically.
They said, we really like PUBG, so we made it.
Fortnite is that early access tower defense crafting game.
So I feel like it probably wasn't smart to use PUBG's name in that.
No, especially not when PUBG is made in Unreal Engine, and Epic is the creators of the Unreal Engine, and technically are making bank on all of the licensing fees that PUBG that Bluehole is paying for PUBG.
Yep. John, have you seen anything about Fortnite? I feel like it'd definitely be up your alley.
I haven't. I'm here. Sorry. It was on mute.
No problem.
I haven't. No, I'll have to take a look at it. What kind of game is it?
Yeah, it's like
fucking building game.
It's like a building game where you set up. Set up these.
I know you love them.
I do.
It's like a tower defense game, but it's a third-person action. Like you set up this thing to defend. I haven't seen too much on it, so I can't speak too much. Mike, you've seen a lot more of it than I have.
So it's like you drop into a level and you smash the shit out of what's in the level to get resources. Find this big glowing orb and then build a base around it, basically, and then trigger waves of enemies that come to attack the orb, and then you have to defend it. as far as I could tell. And then there's like you rescue survivors at one point and stuff. But now it's the only PUBG experience on PS4.
Right. That's the important part about this, I guess.
Mhm.
Well, one of the important parts is since PlayStation doesn't have a early access program,
They just have paid for closed betas.
paid for closed betas, like Microsoft does with what's that service called? Not
Game
service,
preview program.
Game preview. PUBG can't come to PS4, so this is the only way you can experience a battle royale type game on PS4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a selling point for the game.
Yeah,
But
you
now,
can't say that. Like,
no, you can't, and that's the problem. So there's been a lot of back and forth with what Bluehole is saying they're gonna do about this.
They put out a press release on Friday saying, "Hey, a bunch of our fans pointed out that this game looks an awful lot like our game. That's fucked. We're considering further action." And then an interview with PC Gamer, the president of Bluehole was like, "They used our name when we didn't give them permission, so some fans thought that we were working with them directly. They own Unreal Engine, so anything we do to Unreal Engine as custom to make a 100-player battle royale mode work, like they can they have the ability to see, I guess, or something." He was like worried that it would leak out and that they would just use their tech, possibly.
Yeah.
And then there were comments about how he was worried that they would develop unique tech for Unreal Engine for Fortnite that they wouldn't share with licensees, and how they're basically directly competing with them now and using their name to promote themselves and stuff. And that they have like reached out to Unreal Korea, because Bluehole is in Korea, and they were like, "Yeah, we called back to the home office in America, but it's the weekend, so no one's there."
It's really hard to see what's actually going on here. Whether or not there was some maliciousness involved with the copying, or if it was just a mistake on the part of people who really like that game and wanted to put a mode in their game.
Right. Like, it's entirely possible that the Fortnite team really liked PUBG and was like, "We really like this mode, so we made one too."
And it was just a mistake that they just didn't fail to see
That
a
might be a
problem with,
yeah.
where they should have. Yeah, it's
And it's just as likely they went, "We really like this mode," and they sold 10 million copies. Let's try to sell 10 million
Right.
copies, because no one's buying fucking Fortnite.
It's hard to tell. And we'll never know.
No.
But because they're definitely going to be saying one way no matter what. I don't know. I hope nothing really bad comes out of all this. I'm hoping that it just gets resolved.
Epic just like revokes their license, and suddenly they have to completely rebuild PUBG in Unity or something because they can't use Unreal anymore.
That would be rough.
That'd be real bad. I mean, they've already made their money, but that would be real bad.
That'd be really dumb on their part too, because this thing is going to sell more. Like,
and they're still making money off the licensing, so
yeah, we'll see. That's something probably to keep an eye on. Although, who knows how long it'll take for that to get resolved. Right. Let's see. Miiverse is shutting down November 8th.
Aww.
Yeah. Now, Miiverse, that was the Wii U service,
That's
correct?
Wii U's Facebook.
Yeah.
I think it's also on the 3DS. I could be wrong.
Was it on the 3DS as well?
I think there might be a version of it, but it was primarily focused on the Wii
U. Yeah, that got out of hand too.
Yeah.
In certain ways. Yeah, it's sad that it's getting shut down, but
I mean, Nintendo already ruined the Miiverse when they started adding stamps that you could use. So.
Really?
Fuck them. Like the Super Mario 3D Land, you could collect stamps, and then you would use the stamps to make Miiverse posts. And it's like, I want a picture of Toad. I stamped a picture of Toad. And so people would just be like, "Here's Toad," instead of writing messages like, "My mom hits my dad," or "I love Mario," and that's just, "Here's a bunch of Toads." So fuck
that
them.
happened. More Nintendo stuff. There's quite a bit of Nintendo stuff.
It's all
actually.
Nintendo today, baby.
NES Golf was found in the Switch firmware, and it looks like it was set as an homage to Iwata.
Yes, Iwata-san programmed NES Golf all by himself. and so the Japanese community has taken to calling it some sort of lucky charm or trinket. I forgot the Japanese word. But
Right.
basically the idea being, oh, Iwata is now looking over all of the Switches that Nintendo's put out for the betterment of their company, because he was a really cool dude that a lot of people there really liked.
Yeah.
And the industry is a worse place with his absence.
A very smart dude.
Yes.
Some of the things he did involving game programming
Mhm.
was very, very innovative, and he was doing things. Which game was it? Where he just started doing things that shouldn't have even seemed possible.
It was one of the
was it
it was
Pokemon?
one of the Kirby's, wasn't it?
Kirby's. Yes. I don't remember the details. It's definitely something to look like a good story to read on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a real shame.
And there's a rumor that on the anniversary of
he's
his
gone.
death, you might be able to unlock it for play or something. But even without that stuff, I think it's a really
That'd be a cool little
Yeah.
thing. I mean, it's cool that it's in there.
even without being
period.
able to play
Like,
it. It's really cool that it's in there.
Yeah. When I'd heard about the NES golf thing, but I had until looking into it and talking with you, I didn't realize he had programmed that game.
Yeah, that's where I
once you'd
found it
said
out
that.
too. Yeah.
That's really cool. There was a community that made a Super Mario 64 online game.
Yeah, it was you needed an N64 emulator and a copy of the ROM, and then you would run both at the same time, and as long as everyone had the same save file loaded in their ROM, you could enter an IP address through the external application, and you would connect to each other and be running around in Super Mario 64.
Yep. I saw some videos on it. It looked really cool. And everything worked, which was it's just
Well,
I mean it
not
worked
everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like you could interact with other players, but
Yeah.
coins and stuff was kind of weird. If you got a star, you would get booted out of the world while the other players were still in there and stuff.
And they had the editor worked as well.
But yeah, I
didn't it?
believe the editor worked.
Like on the fly, like
Yeah.
which was really cool. But it got taken down, like no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the extent to which it got taken down maybe a little like. So Nintendo took down all the videos from this guy's channel, the guy who made it, and they shut down his Patreon.
The Patreon makes sense because
It does,
Nintendo doesn't
but
want you.
it's kind of
They don't want you profiting off their work. That makes sense.
I understand. It's kind of unprecedented though. Like they haven't done that yet.
The thing with the videos too is unfortunate because it literally sounds like, oh, Nintendo doesn't offer their like Let's Play like profit sharing program where this dude lives, and since they don't offer it, they're like, well, you don't get the videos if we don't get a cut of the money.
Yeah, I saw him complaining about that on
He's
Twitter.
like, I literally have no other option. You don't let me give you the money for this stuff.
Right.
But hey, maybe
the way Nintendo handles anything revolving videos on their content is absurd.
Remember when a lawyer
pulled
threatened to fucking cancel Evo one year because they didn't get permission to stream Smash Brothers after
the Smash
it
Brothers
had raised like $100,000 in donations?
Yep. So stupid. They really need to get some maybe I mean, my guess is that the people handling that are all incredibly old.
Yes, they're old Japanese businessmen who don't know what the fuck is going on.
And my initial thought is like they really need to get some younger blood in there. But I mean, I don't know, so I don't. But
I will say, hopefully this will.
It's just it just always looks so bad the way they handle.
Well, the
all
last time something like this happened was the AM2R, the another Metroid 2 remake, and then a couple months after that, they announced their Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah.
Maybe in a couple months, they're gonna announce Super Mario 64 Maker, and then it's gonna have online play, and it's gonna be 3DS exclusive. Because fuck making Switch games. You didn't buy any Wii U's.
Yeah, fuck them. As Vinny might say.
Exactly.
Well, Vinny as
Reggie.
As Reggie. Let's see here. There's a recent Nintendo Direct. Some few things to note. Xenoblade 2 got a release date of 12/1/17. Doom, and Wolfenstein 2 will be coming to Switch. Let's see.
Probably not at 60.
They showed no. Probably not. I mean, would you expect it to?
No, it's a tablet. I would never expect it to. It's just a shame
Right.
because that game.
I mean, honestly, I'm super surprised it's coming to
Yeah,
Switch.
totally.
Like, and you know what? Good on them.
Yeah,
It's about time they let some games that aren't all.
I mean, just wait.
Fucking unicorns and rainbows on their system.
Wait until it's
I mean,
5 years later, though, and we're going to be talking about how Bethesda is putting out Doom again. This time in VR. This time with paid mods. It's just going to be Skyrim all over again.
Oh well, we already are getting Doom VR.
I
Remember?
know, that's what I'm saying. We're going to get another version.
It's not 5 years. That's just gonna be next year. Like- They showed more with their working title of Project Octopath Traveler, which we first got to see at E3, I believe. I think that was the first showing of that. It's showing off what they're calling HD 2D.
It's from the Bravely Default guys.
From the Bravely Default guys, they might be making a good game finally.
Oh, Bravely Default's good. You're crazy.
I'm sure it's fine.
The art style
I
is
had
what
no
you didn't
interest.
like, so this should be.
I
this
didn't
could
like
be
the art
really good.
style, and honestly, the whole Bravely Default system did not sound fun to me.
No, well then you're not gonna like this either.
This doesn't look the same.
There's a brave option. There's a thing where you can use turns you don't have at a cost later, which is literally braving.
Are you sure that's with every character,
no,
or just with
that's
one of the
with
characters?
I mean, that's with the warrior, I think.
because each of their characters does things
Does a
incredibly
different like hook or whatever. Yeah, we've only seen two, as far as I know.
I think in the direct they showed a few of them.
Oh, the dancer. And the warrior.
Did you watch the direct?
I
mean, it's not directly showing off, but there was a lot of videos.
right,
there,
like
and
you
I
probably
think
saw
get
them,
to
but
see-
the like playthrough, the stuff I saw of the actual gameplay was, I think it was the dancer. Actually.
I don't think I would mind like a Brave Default system as like one character's kind of special ability, but when the whole game is built around that just didn't seem fun.
It was
to
a
me.
class-based
I don't
game
know.
though, so you couldn't make it like one character's. Anyway,
Hmm?
nothing. It doesn't matter. That was
I
the
mean,
gimmick for
it's
the whole
fine.
game.
Right. It was fine. I didn't feel it was for me. Mario Odyssey looks better and better every time they show something
That
of it.
game looks really
At
good.
I'm
least-
so ready.
At least to me.
Like, man, from what we've talked about, my most anticipated everything revolves around me getting a Switch here in about 2 months, 3 months, Christmas, around that time.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be able to pick up Mario, Legends of Zelda. I'm going to be able to pick up so many games at once that y'all will never see me. Like, God, I can't wait.
I'm excited for it.
There's a lot of things to be excited for on a Nintendo platform.
Zelda,
Which is
Mario,
weird to say.
Doom.
Yeah. Because Wii U was kind of a disappointment.
Wii U was great.
There's some great games on the Wii U, but still.
Can you
What I'm
name
wondering right now
overall-
is what is Nintendo going to do? Like, what do they have after? I mean, they have Xenoblade 2.
The N64 Mini.
Mhm.
No, but I mean, what is Nintendo going to do on Switch?
The
Like-
Virtual Console.
You think they're actually going to launch it?
I mean, are you talking next year?
Yeah, I'm saying like come January, February. Like, do you think they're waiting to tell people anything about that stuff? Or
They're
think
probably
there is
waiting. I'm
nothing?
sure. I don't think there's nothing. I think they have some stuff in the works that's coming next year.
third parties seem a lot more.
I
on
think
board.
they're
Mm.
very much focusing mostly on the here and now. I mean, they made some very far off announcements at E3.
Pokemon.
We got the
That's a
the
really
Pokemon.
far off announcement.
Really?
that's far. I mean, they got the new Metroid Prime.
That's true.
like-
That's true. You're right. That's
Do
totally.
you think that,
But for the most part, they've been focusing on stuff that's been very much soon.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, getting a Mario, like a full 3D Mario and a huge
It's so
Zelda
important
game
that they do that.
in the
That
same
would be-
year, and in a launch year, like
In a launch year.
they
yeah.
fucking
Well,
threw a
considering they
haymaker.
didn't. When you don't have it come out in a whole console generation, you kind
right. You saved it up. Hopefully, I can't wait for Switch 2 when they announce the next Zelda game.
I mean, you can argue that there was a. What was the Mario game?
Super
Was it 3D
Mario
World?
3D World.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that's a full Mario game, but it really didn't feel like one.
It is one. It
felt
was
like
it
felt like an interim one. Like
it was like a 3D game in the vein of the old Mario like if it was like the old Mario platformers.
It
Like
was a spinoff of the
Yeah.
3DS game, and it definitely felt like
levels
it.
and shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like here's the new Mario.
It did
Like-
it did introduce the best character in Mario though.
What, the cat suit?
Meowser? Yeah.
Mhm.
Bowser?
Meowser is my
Ah,
first
man,
son.
but Mario Odyssey though,
It looks
that
Okay.
game,
Yeah.
that game looks so good.
Mario is so obsessed with Princess Peach, he's going to ruin her and Bowser's wedding no matter what. God
I
damn it.
know.
what is the
They already-
actual release?
They already
date?
have a child out of wedlock,
Yeah. He just can't get over his ex.
right? Oh my god. What were you gonna say,
What
Seth?
is the actual release date for Odyssey?
27th of October?
Is it the 27th? I think.
Okay.
There's another. It's the same day as Wolfenstein, right?
I believe
Yeah,
that
and it's
is
just
true.
it's like 3 days after Destiny 2.
God, there's just so many fucking games coming out next month. Stupid. There's some SNES and NES Classic news. So as of right now, nothing's changed. But they have come out and said that please don't buy from scalpers.
Didn't they say you
There will
should
be
have
enough
to buy from
SNESes
scalpers?
for everyone.
Right. I mean, who knows if they're actually gonna make good on
They're
it?
not.
No,
No.
they'll make
SNES do
better.
that.
They'll make
they'll make
better,
better.
I think.
They'll do
It just
better.
won't. It still will be pathetic.
Well, I mean, I think they already have done better. I think they've already
They announced they've done
had
better.
more pre-orders
Yeah,
than
they've-
NES
They
Classic.
said they're shipping more in the first day than they did all year last year.
Right. But they said they're going to keep making them, and then next year they're going to put more NES Classics into printing. So
They finally heard the cries that said, "Nintendo, do you want our money?"
it's a year and a half
Right.
later.
They said, no,
I mean,
we have to turn off this emulator that people can use to play all our games.
Right.
Do you think?
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen with
Do
that?
you think
Like
they're
if
going to
they,
figure out a way to stop that?
I mean, maybe initially,
Like I
but
say,
people are going to find
They're
a
not
way
gonna.
around it
They'll
again.
make it harder. They won't ever stop it.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's honestly that's the only thing that would lead me to buy a SNES Classic is if I can put all those games I used to have on it.
And I
Really?
can't wait to get one for my daughter. Absolutely can't wait.
I want to get.
I mean,
one.
that's the other thing too, right? Get it for your
Which
kids.
version of
like-
Final Fantasy VI is going to be on it?
As far as I know, well, they're calling it Final Fantasy 3, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be that version.
The Super Nintendo version.
Yes.
Is that what you want?
It should be the same version that they sell in the Virtual Console shop on Wii, which still calls it Final Fantasy 3. So it should be the console version. Which that's the other thing. Like, if I ever want to stream Final Fantasy 6, that's the version I want to play.
You don't want to play the
So, and
Steam
having an
version?
HDMI version
Steam
of that would be
version's got
kinda
those. The Steam version, the creator himself has come out and said the Steam version is
Yeah,
how he really
the Steam
intended the game to
version
be.
is that is the superior graphical
Just-
option.
It's his.
nice. Well, yeah,
it's
Why
his
are the
idea.
fans in the West so obsessed with these old sprites that are ugly?
because they look better.
No.
He would have made them look different if he could have.
Oh, it's a good thing he didn't get the chance.
Don't you guys like 3D better? We can play the cloud game instead. Says
It's like
man
so
who does not
out-
understand his creation.
so out of touch with why people like it.
Yeah, I don't.
Don't think about it, Jimmy. It makes
Whatever.
you sad.
It makes you
Whatever.
It does.
They can never take away that version of the game from me,
That's
so
not true.
it's fine.
You give a man a mission in
Uh,
15 years,
I still have my cartridge.
he will take it.
But let's see. There's a little bit of Overwatch stuff.
Just a little bit.
All you toxic
be
players,
permanently-
fuck you. You're making it so we don't get
You can be-
updates.
You can be permanently banned from competitive now. I don't remember the criteria for
Be
that,
bad.
but
If you're in silver at the end of
Yeah.
this season, you're banned.
Oh shit!
Bronze is fine because you're still learning. Gold and above
there was
is
this
fine.
whole long video that Jeff Kaplan did talking about the toxic community.
We wouldn't have to be
Um,
so fucking toxic if Hanzo would just do his fucking job and kill somebody.
right.
Goddamn Hanzo.
That's right.
Can I get some
Fuck.
goddamn heals over here? Does someone want to heal me?
Fucking this Mercy's just pocketing the soldier. Just heal me. I'm trying to charge a bastion.
Wow. I feel some serious saltiness coming from this
These
conversation.
are all things we've heard.
Real fucking things. Some of these are
These are all
some of these
real.
things we've said.
Yep.
Hey, I write down my swear words in my swear diary and I burn it every night. So only me and Jesus knows.
Oh
So
my.
yeah. So Overwatch, they're babysitting all the players now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could argue
The
that
community's gotten really bad. Like when the game came out, I feel like the
Yes.
community was really, really good.
it was much better.
It seemed like it was like a really good community, like a positive community. And I feel like it's more and more
And once the competitive mode came in, I'm telling you,
negative.
that's
Yeah.
that's why I don't like playing competitive. Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it puts a certain mindset in me. Like
No, it does. I know. I've tried to talk
it
to you out of
matters
it, and
more.
you don't.
It matters
doesn't-
more.
doesn't
Like
help.
it does.
No matter how many times I tell you, it doesn't matter. You're like,
I can't change. You can't
like
change
at
The
the end of the
only
match, I'm going to see the
difference, though-
slider go down. It's going to
That's
make
the
me
only
sad.
difference.
because it makes you think you're worse at the game.
What do you mean, thanks?
I get fine.
Listen, if you would just get good, you'd climb.
it shows you how bad you are at the
yeah,
game.
okay. That's yes. Hey, I will admit 100% I am trash at Overwatch. I don't need a little number to tell me that. Just hide the number and make me go into worse opponents until I'm good again.
We're average players.
Listen,
No, we're
listen.
not.
If it would just give
Platinum
us
is
competent
average.
teammates.
I feel like we're above average a little bit.
I mean,
Just
do
a
y'all
little
want me
bit.
to start
above-
playing with
we're
y'all
above
I mean,
again so
Jimmy's
y'all
high
can see how
platinum.
good y'all are?
We're not.
I'm coat hanger. I was low gold. Remember?
Coat hanger.
Coat
Yeah,
hanger.
You've
God,
never heard of that?
that got dark.
You never heard of that popular internet character, coat hanger?
Oh,
I
boy.
end
So,
your
yeah.
future.
Anyways, fuck Overwatch.
Well, moving on. Nier Automata passed 2 million copies sold.
Speaking of coat hangers,
And Square Enix announces they're hiring staff for a Nier-related product, scenario creation.
hell
you
yeah,
think-
baby.
Do you think it'll be another platinum game, or do you think Square's going to try to do something? Because it's their IP, right? They can do whatever they want with it.
Their IP, they can do whatever
Yes,
they want.
Platinum helped with it.
Platinum,
Yeah, it was
Platinum
not-
made it. I mean,
It saved Platinum.
yeah.
Like Konami
Yeah.
has come out and said if that game didn't do as well, Platinum wouldn't exist right now.
Well, Platinum had fallen on some hard times after that Xbox game got canceled, and
Right.
a few of their games were just not well received in a row.
Well, I mean, it sounded like they were starting and canceling projects left and
Yeah.
right. Like,
Yeah,
there
maybe they'll
was
get
that,
bought.
there was that brief period where it was just they kept announcing, "Hey, we're starting this. Hey, we're starting this." Well, what about this other thing you just said? No comment. Like, oh boy.
So,
I'm really curious to know what they mean by this.
I'm terrified.
Near-related project.
I'm terrified.
it's a spin-off. It's going to be a.
I don't think you're wrong to be scared.
It's going to be a third-person shooter.
You told me if you had told me Nier Automata was coming out before I played it, I would have told you I was terrified of that too, because I played the first
Yeah.
Nier. I liked the first Nier. I knew it was a bad game that had a lot of flaws, but I still think people should have experienced it. Nier Automata comes
Yeah.
out, and I would have been like, "There's no fucking way this game is going to be good. No fucking way." And the game is amazing.
If what's his face is not attached
Oh,
to
yeah.
it, it's gonna be
If
trash.
Yoko Taro isn't on this project,
Yoko Taro.
then
He'll be-
there's no point.
I mean, the way they're phrasing it, it sounds like he might be on there as like a producer or something, but
It's like
That's not
he
enough.
worked
because
on-
otherwise they would announce that he was like helming the project, wouldn't they?
probably.
Like,
I mean,
you want that
that's
in your
the
press
thing,
release.
like-
I suspect they'll do
Yeah.
it like they did Drakengard, where they gave him Drakengard 1 because the Square Enix said, "Hey, we want to make a game that's like Dynasty Warriors," and he said, "Can I do whatever I want with the story?" And they said, "Sure, whatever. We don't care. Just make it successful." And he said, "All right,
They
cool."
didn't realize what that
And
meant.
so then he fucking went insane. He went insane with Drakengard, and then he left to go work with, I think it was Project Cavia or something. I forgot what the studio was called that made the first Nier game. But Square Enix then went and made Drakengard 2 completely without him. And as a result, that game is non-canon. People don't play it or talk about it like they do the other Drakengard games. Nier comes out, and it is a direct sequel to fucking Ending F of Drakengard, an ending no one got in a game no one played. And then after he moves off that, he goes and makes Drakengard 3 because Square Enix wants to make another Drakengard game and he wants to get paid. And so he makes a prequel to Drakengard 1 because it's the easiest way to keep 2 non-canon. And then Nier Automata comes out as a direct sequel to the original Nier, set like 10,000 years in the future or whatever. And it's like,
yeah, is there a thing that says exactly how far in the future it is?
I don't think they give you the exact numbers. Like, I don't think they ever tell you, hey, this is this far in the future. But they definitely,
because we don't even know how long the cycle was.
They give you dates. I want to say. I think at one point they tell you what the year is, and then you can cross-reference that with the stage play he also wrote, and the audio plays, and the books, and the first game, and then all the books and fucking audio tapes for the first game. To get a timeline going, but I think he kind of leaves that stuff kind of intentionally obtuse so that you have to like work to find it, or find someone who has already done the work to find it anyways.
Right. I mean, I assumed it was that way. I just wasn't sure if anyone had found it or not. Oh well, we'll see.
Hey Square, you sold 2 million copies. Please fix the PC version.
Yeah.
Please. Like,
I mean. They're still saying that they're going to fix it.
We get it. The community fixed it for you, and you can probably just lie and say you're going to. But could you please just fix it, please?
The thing is, Square Enix, I really don't understand how they don't look at things retroactive correctly.
They can't be trusted.
Like, seeing this game sold 2 million copies. Okay, well, there's a reason it did. Maybe let's do things the same way.
Right.
There's a reason it did. Let's cash in on this name really quick.
Right.
So like, let's change everything. Or
it's like they see success and be like, okay, well, it can never happen again the same way. Let's do something completely off the wall with the same IP and fuck everything up.
Well, in their defense, with Final Fantasy, they did that for like 10 games in a row, consistently changing it, like with dramatic new systems. And each time people were like, oh man, they added a story. Oh man, they added active time battle. Oh man, they added, they made it 3D. Like, they kept changing shit, and people were like, yeah, that's even better. Yeah, that's even better.
But the foundation was still there.
I mean, the argument there is, what's the foundation of it? I mean,
the game has to be about existential dread.
Oh, well, if continue to maintain that.
No, the thing I worry about is that we get the Square Enix Tomb Raider numbers where they go, yeah, the game sold 2.5 million copies. It underperformed.
It's a failure.
It's a failure.
Yeah, God.
Well, they've already said this game this game hasn't.
This game wasn't. But now they go, well, the last game sold 2 million. This needs to sell 4.
Right, and it won't.
And it won't.
No.
And they'll be like,
oh, well, fuck
this
you,
series,
Yoko Taro.
We'll never,
fuck this series.
Never doing anything with him
again. They'll do a live stream
of
them smashing his mask, and I'll literally cry myself to sleep.
I kind of want this to happen now.
That poor man.
Oh no.
I've seen one video with him out of his mask. He was giving a GDC talk one year about the first Nier, I think. It might have been about the second one, but he's giving a GDC talk, and he goes, now, for everyone here in the audience, I'm not wearing my mask. I'm a shy person. I don't like to put my face out there. Please don't record this. And someone recorded it and uploaded the entire thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, sorry.
Well, all I know is in an interview, he seems like he's kind of a dick.
I will never.
I mean, I would argue that many creative types in this regard are.
I just don't like what he said about Persona 5. Let's move on.
No, that was entirely him.
What did he
being
say?
Like, please don't put out an RPG when I'm trying to put out my RPG. I don't want to starve.
Or don't put out a bad
Someone
RPG
was asking his thoughts about
one.
Persona 5. They were like, oh, your game's coming out soon. Or how do you feel about, like, Persona 5 has been really well received. Have you had a chance to look at it? What are your thoughts? And he's like, I'm focusing on my own games. I don't really pay attention to what other people do. Or he basically said, I don't care what other people do. Like,
which was a good response. Maybe not as mean as.
I mean, that's the best. That's the nicest you can be.
I mean, the best response is, I am inspired Well,
No,
truly,
If it makes you feel any
no
better,
one,
Paul,
no one gets inspired by shit.
there was definitely an interview with him about the same time where he said, "Yeah, we were going to work with Atlas on a cool RPG together, and then they decided to put Persona 5 out around the same time I'm putting my RPG out. It's like they want me to starve and die."
did he say that?
Yeah, in a Japanese interview.
Well, maybe Alice doesn't like him. Maybe there's a good reason.
It's
I don't
possible.
know.
I don't know. I can never hate the man. He wears that
Alice is
fun mask.
jealous.
He claps very good. He's a good clapper. And there's a promo video of him promoting Nier Automata where he rolls around on the floor shouting "free T-shirt" in Japanese and ends the commercial by saying "fuck Square Enix." So
Wow.
Okay.
Sounds like a
Well,
cool guy.
he's a cool guy.
Moving on. Visual novel
Oh,
fans.
skip this one. Jesus Christ.
No,
No one cares.
the English
one
version of Little
cares!
Busters. The English version of Little Busters, made by Visual Arts Key,
Ugh.
is coming to Steam on November
Is
1st.
that the guy from Arrested Development? Little
No.
Buster. He's got the hook hand.
Little Buster.
He's all right.
Oh, Jimmy, I meant to tell you this. The other day, sorry, this is totally a tangent. Arrested Development made me think about it. Remember I told you I did a flu clinic? Or I was doing a flu clinic? Did I tell you about that?
I don't think you did.
I did a flu clinic where I gave 30 flu shots to some seniors at an assisted
Right,
living facility.
Because you're a doctor.
Why only
Okay.
30?
There
Well,
were
not
only,
enough for everyone.
well, if there were more than 30, I had to take care of that.
Oh no!
Don't worry.
Oh,
it was their time.
I had 30 flu vaccines, and I had an infinite amount of flu.
Yeah.
3 vaccines, 60 patients.
Sorry, Grandma and Grandpa.
Fight for
You're
it.
not going to make it.
Now he's only got 30 patients.
Right.
But
Okay, continue.
anyways, yeah, I mean, I could tell you a lot about it. But the thing that was funny was there was one woman that was very far into the process of losing her goddamn mind. Like dementia had taken strong hold of her. And it was the fun kind of dementia, not the like angry kind of dementia. So
Okay.
I was walking around.
You could argue that dementia's never
Oh
fun.
no, it's
but,
fun it's fun for me. Strangers. It's fun for strangers.
Oh man, this is getting dark.
It's always dark in my land.
Okay.
Okay, so
No beige though.
no. Whoa. So I was going room to room because these seniors can't really, like, normally in a flu clinic you'd have one central location and the patients would cycle through it.
Yeah, first one there gets
Yeah.
the vaccine, next one dies.
Right. Yeah. It's like the Russians with the bullets and the guns.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, I was going room to room, and this one woman, after I gave her her flu shot, just started following us. Me and the attendant, I was like taking me to the rooms where the patients are getting their shots, and she's like, "Are you a nice man?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." I lied to her.
But you lie to her.
I know, I lied to her because I didn't know what else to say. I was like, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "I like nice men," and then she looked at me.
We're nice.
She did. She did. I about lost my mind. She said, "We're nice," just like that. And I was like, "Oh my god, I need to be out of
Holy
here."
shit.
Yeah,
She said, "I like
That's
nice
great.
men," and then
I
went.
thought
spit out her
of you.
dentures.
Oh no, there was one like that too.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
She said, "Who's this handsome guy coming in here?" And I was like, "Oh god, I have to touch you."
You know they don't mean it, right?
Oh,
No, I know.
Paul, you're just supposed to give them the vaccine.
No, wait, what?
You give them the vaccine,
Oh,
they give you some
no.
sugar cubes, and
If
you stomp around
they-
the yard.
If they pay for the special service, they get the special service. So.
Oh,
So, anyways,
man.
there's a game coming out on
That's how
Steam,
you
some
met
visual
Jim.
novel.
Yes.
That's how I mean.
So the popular visual novel makers Key in Japan finally have the English version of Little Busters coming out in the West. They've made games like Rewrite, Clonad, which is also the greatest anime ever made.
You mispronounced Attack on Titan.
But no, I wanted to plug this in here because I'm happy that those games are finally coming over here. Battleborn development has officially ended, so they're finally giving up on that game. Did anyone here actually play that?
Battleborn?
Yeah.
Oh, for like 5 minutes.
Did you?
The mushroom
Okay.
guy sucks.
Oh man. It sucks for them, but like they should have maybe done this a while ago.
No, it was making them bank.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone, I mean, think about it. What other game can you say, I logged on with everyone else playing today? That's a hella tight community.
I can think of a game.
Oh?
I can think of a game.
Yeah.
Lawbreakers. How many? What was the player count you told me about
like
the other
27, I think. It was like less than 50.
That's so rough.
Now,
was that across all platforms or
that
just
was
PS4?
just PC.
PC. Okay.
Yeah, that was just Steam users.
Okay, man, that is.
But Cliff Blazinski's got to make Lawbreakers work, or he's gonna go live in a box.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh well. Any other news that I didn't have here? This was all the stuff I collected through the month.
Hollow Knight's getting some cool DLC in Halloween. I think that's also when the Switch version is supposed to come out, is with that DLC.
Is that okay? Yeah, I couldn't find that. I looked earlier a little bit. Couldn't find any hard dates. Well, Paul, are you going on your vacation before Halloween?
Yes.
Well, you're fucked.
Are you going to be in Hawaii on your vacation? Or during Halloween? Obviously, you're going to be there on your vacation.
Oh, I would hope you would be in Hawaii during his vacation.
No.
Oh.
Maybe he's going to Hawaii to run a fluke clinic.
There we go.
Paul, can I give you some suggestions for your Hawaii trip?
Sure.
Okay. 1, make sure you walk along the beach with your girlfriend teacher, who then you get crabs together, and people are like, "Are you guys dating?"
Wait.
And then you're like, "Oh no."
Wait, you're going with your sister?
No.
Suggestion 2: don't drink the water. Video games have taught me that water in Hawaii is not drinkable.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't drink any water. Just drink Bahama Mamas.
Suggestion 3: make sure you spend the entire time in your hotel. Talking about how
Yeah.
you've got a lot of fun
Outdoors
things you
are
could do,
dangerous.
but don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
And then if you
okay.
can get a roommate for your hotel who isn't on, like, you didn't invite with you on the trip, it's just kind of hanging out there with you and is like complaining to you the entire time about how they're actually way better than you are and they're the reason you're so good. If you could do that too, I think that would make your trip the best.
I'm sensing that this isn't. I'm sensing that maybe something behind the scenes.
I just want to talk about what kind of
here.
girls I like, so I can figure that out.
Figure that out. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And
I like
then,
them for their bodies. That's what I picked.
if you can get some people who go to a different CVS to also go on vacation in Hawaii around the same time.
This is getting very specific. I don't know if I can pull any of this off, but I'll try.
You got the money. You could do it.
You can do whatever you want. I heard you bought a toilet once.
Yeah. Right.
Paul, if you hear one of them call you a howley, it's not good.
Okay.
Ask them
I'll
if they know
remember
your
that.
friend Dustin.
Right. I'm definitely gonna ask that.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so last month we gave our most anticipated games, and everyone said Destiny 2.
The only one
except
who
for
can commit.
Paul. Yes, yeah, Mike is the only one who followed up on that promise. Paul mentioned a game that wasn't really his most anticipated game, but he might like to play it.
I want to play it. I just have to play the other.
That was
two
Legend
games
of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 3.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
No. I know, right?
You fucked
I would
up.
have put Mario and Rabbids down, but technically that was coming out after the podcast, but before this month started. So
That was your most anticipated game of 2017. You said.
yeah, that's
2 podcasts ago.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yep, that's what you said.
Mhm.
Oh, what's our most anticipated games for the next month?
Let's let John go first.
Seth, John.
Let's see here. Most anticipated games coming up. There's a new Far Cry game coming out, isn't there? I think that's still.
Is that this
I
year?
don't know if it's this year. It's
I
probably
think it's November,
next year,
but-
maybe. I don't know.
Really?
Pretty sure.
November. Oh wow.
Because I enjoyed the last few. I didn't play Primal, but I liked 3 and 4 a lot, and I'll probably play Primal.
I really liked 4.
So yeah, 4.
No,
Three
I
was
apologize.
fun, but I
It
didn't
is
play it
next
very
year.
long.
It's February of next year.
February. Okay. So Far Cry 5. Okay. Have you seen much on it?
Not much. No, I need to go out and take a look at it. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, have you watched on it or watched anything on it?
I mean, I saw what they showed at E3. Everyone has told me I'm crazy.
I think you're crazy.
You're crazy.
But I don't think it looks as good.
It looks
I don't
exactly
think
like 3 and
it
4 to
looks
me.
I think it looks weird.
You just don't like shooting Americans.
That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
You're like, no, these men should be free. I only go overseas for my murders.
That's right. Okay, so Far Cry 5, Seth.
I mean, really, has any of ours changed? But if I had to give another game, I would say South Park Fractured Butthole before it's coming out before.
You still haven't played the other one, have
I
you?
haven't. But I've watched
You
a
really
lot of
should.
videos on the new one, and I want to play it.
That game's really good.
But yeah, if we're going podcast to podcast, time wise, that's what's coming out next month that I want to play before the next podcast. But let's be real.
Okay.
Will we get to play it with Destiny coming out?
Well, it comes out before
Does
Destiny.
it? How soon before?
You've got a week.
About
a week?
About week and a few days. Yeah.
It's like,
or no, we determined it was exactly a week. Never mind.
It's like when Paul and I had to beat.
That was my bad.
Paul and I had to beat Zelda before Persona 5 came out.
That was stressful.
And instead of Paul actually finishing Zelda, he just went and beat Ganon.
There's a correct answer to
that. I beat Ganon.
But you
Don't
didn't
play
get all the
Persona 5.
memories.
I got all the memories. Well,
no, you
is there
did
one?
There's that one more.
The one I have to get by going back to her
yeah,
and turning all the ones in.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Thanks for the memories.
Mike, what is your most anticipated game?
I know you've maybe heard me say this once or twice, maybe even on this very podcast. But my most anticipated game for next month is definitely that new Bubsy game.
Yeah.
I really liked Bubsy Goes to the Art Museum. And I cannot wait until I see how they follow up that masterpiece.
My favorite is Bubsy 3D.
You're a liar. Only criminals like that game, and you haven't committed any crimes. What could possibly go wrong? No, it's Destiny. Come on, it's Destiny. I mean, I give you another game on the list, but it's not going to be true. It's Destiny's going to be the game I probably spend the most time with. But
I mean, that's the case for all of us.
Right. If you want a game that isn't Destiny, since I've said it like every podcast at this point, I'd say probably, maybe Wolfenstein.
Depending on what happens.
I really like that trailer, and as long as the game can live up to it, like that could be a really cool first-person shooter experience that you don't like a really cool story-based first-person shooter that isn't like Destiny, where it's going to be loot-based and run-based and shit like that. That could be cool. But yeah.
Yeah, Paul.
I think Shadow of War looks really good. Like, I'm definitely gonna play that. But I would say my most anticipated game is probably Mario Odyssey.
Over Durstiner?
Yeah, because I think I'm gonna enjoy Destiny, and then I'm gonna stop enjoying it, and you guys are gonna keep playing it.
No,
I can see
doesn't
that.
Sound like you.
That's a strong prediction.
Yep. That is a likely prediction.
I'd like to get to the point where I can do the raid, just so I can do the raid. But
if you don't do the raid with us, I'm gonna
kick you out of the clan.
Well, I've been listening to these podcasts, and the guys are saying you hit like around 230 light or 230 power.
230 is a soft wall
at the end of the story.
You blow through it, and once you blow through it, you can steadily gear up.
270 is the raid. 260.
But leveling up is fun.
Is that right? 260, 270 would be what you have to be to do the raid.
260 lets you win. 270 is probably closer to what you want.
I've heard it's very doable at 265.
Okay, so if I can get to 230 with the story, and then grind my way to.
I mean, you're just gonna put money into the real money shop to get the gear you need.
Can you actually do that?
No, it's like buying loot boxes, except the gear is level 3.
So you just have to get lucky.
He's saying you can't
Oh,
do
you
that.
lied to me. I didn't think you could. I feel like if you could do that, there would be a big controversy about it.
Yeah, the controversy was that you
course.
could get like +3 armor mod stuff, so it would give you 3 additional power.
Oh, so you could have mods. You get mods
Yeah.
from the boxes. Okay.
Box
I don't
mod is
know.
what I
I
call
just
it.
can't wait to feed guns to other guns. Like, is that
Oh, yeah, video games.
Yeah.
okay? Good.
Yeah.
Good. I can't wait.
I can't wait.
Oh.
It's gonna be so good.
I'm gonna play it, but there's gonna be a lot of nights where you're gonna be like,
You need to do the
"Go
raid
play
with
Destiny
us.
2," and I'm gonna be like, "I'm gonna play Mario." Good
You're gonna be
night.
like, I'm gonna go play the Narco State game.
Narco State.
I'll play it with you guys. You guys are gonna be making fun of my grenade
Oh,
tosses.
man.
It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, I can't wait to see like those classic Paul
It'll
throws.
probably be better on PC, FYI. I hate to break it to you.
Better as in like
Even better,
Wait,
even more better.
What do you mean by that?
I've seen you play.
I'm gonna actually somehow throw them behind me.
Oh man, I love that you throwing grenades in Destiny 1. I think is still one of my favorite things about that game. He would try to throw a grenade, it would just end up across the map. Anyway, oh my god, it was funny. Mine is Destiny 2, maybe.
It's not my.
Sport.
It's not my sister's discipline log.
Am I excited about that? I don't know. A game other than that, Mario Odyssey.
Look at you Switch havers get to play the Mario game.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Mhm.
I'm gonna.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
I hope they put it out on Wii U.
Yeah.
Then I can play it as one of the 5 people who bought the Wii U. Please reward me.
Right.
Just buy you a Switch.
Oh well. All right. Well, I think this has been a long podcast.
This has been a new colossus of a podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you're still here with us in hour 16, we commend you.
Yeah.
Even we weren't here for all of it.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up. Please, we have an ARG out. And it's if you go to your email and you type in the to section mmmPodcast@gmail.com.
Podcast.
Put in anything in the subject, maybe involving a few X's and Y's, and then in the subject matter, you type a question, and if you do that, you unlock the next part of the ARG, which will be brought up on next month's podcast. It's really weird and really cool. I mean, we'll see what happens. But if you don't want to do that, you could just email us at mmmPodcast@gmail.com.
Email us anything.
I'll
tell you how big my shoe is.
Listen, I'll click on almost any link.
I'll click on any link.
I may preview in the properties where that thing is going first. But
I'll go to FedEx and have it printed out. And then
That's
Kinko's
right.
to Staples.
Kinko's, baby. But yeah, email us, mmmPodcast@gmail.com.
I know all sorts of things about video games and also about the Star Trek.
And email us about anything. Doesn't have to be
Tell
about
me what your
video
name
games.
is and I'll say nice name.
Yeah. We'll say your name in the
No, we
podcast.
won't.
Ooh,
Yeah,
maybe.
we will.
Maybe. I may have to talk to Mike.
Leave
about
reviews
that.
on
It doesn't
iTunes. 5
seem-
stars are good. 1 stars are bad. They really help.
We're yeah. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Find us all there. I'm sure you found us at one of those places if you're listening.
If you're this far in and you don't know where we are, that's confusing, and you might be might be
Yeah,
that
a
lady
little
Paul
bit.
was talking about.
A little bit.
We are not nice
Jeez,
men.
nice.
We're nice. Mike and I have channels on Mixer.
That's right.
Mixer.com/Kanaku, Kanaku, and Mixer.com/Link43130, LANK 43130. We stream on Mondays and Fridays, respectively, as a kind of set time, but we also stream randomly through the week as well. And
we ignore the chat.
Let's see. There hasn't been. I don't think I've put out any new videos since last podcast. Oh no, there has been.
We started a new series.
Not starting a new series called Paul Plays. So check that out on the Video Games YouTube channel. Just type in Video Games in the search, and it's right there. Go ahead and do that. Follow us on Twitter. mmmHmmm Podcast, I believe, is the Twitter handle.
That sounds right.
Real quick. Let me make sure real quick, and this isn't going to be in the
If you like
thing.
Paul Plays on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We got 15 episodes in the can, but after those pod episodes, we got to know what to do next. So just if you're like, make Paul electrocute himself with a toaster, we'll do it.
Oh no.
So follow us on Twitter at Video Games MHM. That's what it is. Follow me on Twitter at Kanaku_Highwind. Mike is at Link43130.
On Twitter, baby.
Seth, you just got on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I figured out what my handle is and changed it to something. So Colbert1188 at Twitter.
Some might say at Colbert.
Yeah.
11.
I'm not. I don't do the whole Twitter thing, but hey, you follow me and I'll tweet you.
There'll be a link in. Oh, dear Lord!
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Woo! All right. Well, I think we're gonna end on that. We'll see you next month. Next month might be a little late, like I mentioned earlier, to give us a little bit of time with Destiny, so we can talk about Destiny on that podcast. So we'll see you then.
Bye.